Hello, gamers. Good evening. Are we live? I think we're live. How are you doing? Big up Kadi Kaizoku, by the way. He's already got these leaders on his deck builder. That's kind of crazy, man. He works faster than me. But yeah, these leaders, man. I'm pretty hyped for these leaders. What did you guys think? Do this. Yeah, we should be live. I think we're live. If it is working, can someone put something in the chat if there's anybody there? Hello, silly. You missed nothing. We just started. Thank you, Johan. Much appreciated. Technology scares me. But anyway, yeah, these leaders, right? Hey, Nicholas. You like Ace Dolphin? Yeah, I think the Ace looks pretty cool, man. I think another red blue white bit leader is definitely it's a bit of an overlap, right, with Marco, but it seems pretty strong. I mean, you've got the solid red cards from way back in the day, and the blue cards from the starter deck and set 8. So where do we start? Oh, you've never seen these leaders before, silly. Oh yeah, here you go. Oh shit, camera is in the way. You're right. That's not better. My head's too fat. Maybe down here. That'll do for now. We'll see. So yeah, here's Roger. Roger and all these other leaders, apart from the Luffy he already had, got revealed today. Roger, they gave him 5 life, and now my screen is too big. Sorry about this. That'll do. There we go. That's more like it. Yeah, I've moved my head. He's gone. So yeah, Roger, 5 life, 7k, man. What a time to be alive. Power creep moves fast, am I right? If you have any Don cards on your field, you give 1 Don card that would be drawn during your Don step to your leader. Then if you've got 9 or less Don cards on your field, he's just a 5k leader. But being a 5 life, 5k dual color leader, I mean, we've not even really seen that before outside of, well, this guy and RP Kid, who was kind of ass. But I mean, ramping to 10 seems pretty good. This other downside is quite interesting though. Forcing you to play off curve is going to be really weird. It's like when you'd go to your 3 Don turn, you've actually only got 2 to play with, so you're not going to be able to ramp on a 3 Don turn, which is quite interesting. You're confused. Yeah, it's a weird effect. It is a weird effect. So like if you're on 1 Don, and then you would normally draw 2 at the start of your 3 Don turn. You draw 1, and then the other one that you draw goes straight onto your leader. You still go to 3, but one of them is always on your leader, whilst you're ramping to 10. No, it's during your Don phase at the start of your turn, silly. You know, like right at the start of your turn when you reset, you draw a card, and then you ramp 2 Don, or draw 2 Don, I should say. But yeah, one of them will go to your leader. Which it just means that you're playing, like, you're a 6k attacking leader during your ramp up phase, but you've got 1 less Don to play characters with, which is going to be quite interesting. Like I say, it means that on 3 you can't ramp, because all your usual ramp cards like Zorojiro, or he wouldn't fire because your life is too high anyway. But even it's to die for. You can't play this on 3 Don, right? Because you only have 2, and the other one's on your leader. So the earliest you can ramp is 4 if you go second. Yeah, I was expecting something a little different from this. They've just sort of given him big stats and a downside, as opposed to like a win con or a lose con. Your opponent, zero life, I think would have been a little bit too crazy. But yeah, I was expecting, like, I don't know, if you have 10 Don on your field at the end of your turn, you lose, or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I think you're going to probably want to play a good amount of ramps still, right? I'm sure Mr. 2 will make his way into this, as he as he so often does. Oh, not Bob. Bon. Yeah, there's no way you're not playing this guy. And I think the card that you're going to really want to build around is the 9-cost Newgate. I mean, it's the one that I think everyone's mind went straight to, right? Because once you get to 7k, so on your 10 Don turn, even if you've got one stuck on your leader because of this weird effect, you can still dump the Newgate, go to 9. And I mean, if you remember playing against BY Luffy, it was so obnoxious when they're at 9k. So I really do think Newgate just putting you at 9 seems good. And I was watching a video from the one of the Japanese channels, the Yox channel. They were playing 7-cost Kid as well. So they had Kid on the board, and then they had Newgate, and the leader was like 10k, and it was just obnoxious. I'm going to put my face up here, because it's still in the way. There's too much going on this screen. Are you at 9 when your leader effect says... So when you're at 9 Don or less in total, you have minus 2,000 power. So you're just at 5k. But once you hit 10, provided you don't then go below 10, you're going to be 7k for the rest of the game, which is nuts. Can you play 10-cost cards? So you can't play 10-cost cards on your first 10 Don turn, because 1 Don when you draw up to 10 is going to go on your leader. But provided you don't do any Don D-ramp, if you're at 10 at the end of your turn, on your next turn, you will be able to play a 10 cost, because all 10 of your Don will just untap. And this part of your leader effect won't fire. And you can still do Don -1 effects. You've just got to be careful. You've got to be playing something like this guy, or Maria. Maria can help you out as well. Because you can do your Don -1, say on this Kid, or on a 9-cost Luffy, a 9-cost Big Mum. But then as long as your opponent's also at 10, so the Maria's effect doesn't do anything, you can ramp with her back to 10, and then you're still a 7k leader. So it's going to be a little clunky to use purple top end like Kid or Big Mum, but it's still possible. It is still possible. And obviously it's going to depend on what support this guy actually gets in the set, right? But I think just at a baseline, Newgate, slam Newgate, go to 9. That seems like a pretty good place to start, right? I don't know. You can also, of course, play the 3-cost Pudding as another one of these Don re-ramp cards to get around using effects like this. Purple mid-range ramp. Yeah, I think red 10 drops are going to be pretty good. Obviously, I imagine you will play at least a couple copies of Roger. Maybe not, but it would seem... it'd seem a little odd to not include him. Is Hody potentially bannable? I think we're going to cover Banlist in a bit. I have seen people suggesting Hody. That's a little weird to me. I don't know about that per se, but potentially. This Rayleigh, if we get some kind of Roger package, I think you'll likely end up playing this. And you can pile like events in your deck as well. Good ones, obviously you've got Radical Beam. You've got the Igloo. Seen some people playing this in Shanks recently as well, which is pretty interesting. How can you play Roger? So the way that this works is you will have 10 Don, but you don't get 10 Don on your first 10 Don turn. So if you end your turn at 10 Don, when they all untap, you're not adding Don cards during your Don phase. So then you don't have to give one to your leader on effectively your second 10 Don turn. So yeah, you can't play Roger on curve, but you can play him like 1 turn later, provided you don't do any Don minus effects. Yeah, it's really weird how this leader works. It's definitely going to be a little clunky, but I mean, there's no way that a 7k base leader can be bad, right? With 5 life. And like, that's the thing I think some people are overlooking. Some people are talking about like you're going to get run out of the game by aggro, and that may well be the case. But unlike Blue Purple Luffy, you don't have 3 life, you have 5. So even if you're taking a couple hits in the early game, it's really not a big deal. Like, if Blue Purple Luffy takes 1 hit, he's down on 2. If you do get to 2, you've got to take 3 hits. I mean, obviously, you do have 1k less power during that early game, but when you get to that late game, and you slam like a Newgate, go to 9, I don't know. I don't think aggro is going to be as bad as some people think it might be. Just because the amount of extra resources you have as well, being 5 life. In your opinion, you play Roger with the Duffy family. Yeah, I mean, the new... I don't know if you've got it on here. The new Doflamingo... Yeah, this one. Nice proxy. The Doflamingo from PRB2 just seems like a really generic good card for all these multicolored decks that just want to ramp. You can play this on your 6-Don turn. Ramp up seems pretty reasonable to me. And I mean, you could play this guy. He does set you Don back, I guess, which is kind of interesting. And Rosie can help you trash like your ramp events. Maybe. We don't have any red Doflamingo Don Quixote Pirates cards, do we? We have like Monet. Yeah, we have like the red Monet. Is there any more? Yes, Monet, Virgo, and I guess Searchable Igloo. Searchable Igloo is not bad. Yeah, you can send your pink to get back events. I don't know. Ban Gum Gum Giant, Limit Big Mum. I've seen takes on both those cards. We'll talk about ban lists later, but I do think something in Blue Purple Luffy's definitely got to get hit. Like, I don't think they would announce a ban list and then not ban anything in Blue Purple Luffy. That'd be crazy. Ban Purple. That's a little crazy. Ban Snake Man? I don't like banning leaders. I didn't like when they did it with Saka. I didn't mind it when they did it with Law, actually. I know I was an RP Law player, but that leader was way too good. Giant is basically fair in every part of the purple Straw Hat deck. Yeah, it's much less broken. I think green purple for me, it's kind of insane in that deck as well, which is ridiculous because they should care about the Dom -2, but they just kind of don't. I don't know. Doffy into Kata, into 9-Mum. Yeah, I mean, Kata is another good card that this deck gets access to. This deck's going to have so much good, like, top end, right? But picking which is best is going to be a thing, because, I mean, look at this. You can't just run 20 bricks. That's crazy. You don't have Giant in this deck. So it's going to be interesting to see how this sort of deck ends up, right? Yeah, the Roger support, the Shanks and Buggy, I need to remind myself what they did. They gave, like, Rush, right? The Shanks and Buggy. Yeah, one of your Roger Pirates characters gains Rush. And one of your Roger Pirates gains Blocker. Yeah, I mean, you can give this guy Blocker, I guess. That's kind of funny. Yeah, these could actually be pretty relevant if we get a whole Roger Pirates themed package. And I'm assuming the Roger Pirates cards are going to be purple, right? So, I mean, we've already seen a few red cards, and they just seem like fairly nondescript, Straw Hat adjacent, but nothing too crazy. That's an interesting thought. I kind of forgot about these cards, I'm not going to lie. Ban Giant, Errata, Luffy. I don't know. I don't think they'll be doing erratas. I don't think erratas are a great way to go. Unless it's like gameplay erratas with things like how in set 1 it didn't say up to. Just make Luffy, you can only play Straw Hats. Blue Purple Luffy without Gum Gum Giant is not tier 0. No, definitely not. I don't think... I don't know if... at least in the West, Blue Purple Luffy's definitely not tier 0. Looking at results, it looks like Betty's the best deck. I know that does change in set 12 because of Green Zorro, right? Green Zorro apparently is keeping all the Bettys in check, which in turn makes Blue Purple better, which is kind of crazy. No Honesty Impact? Oh, this isn't a finished deck list, Ben. We're just yapping. We're just yapping. New EBO2 Rue. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's an interesting thought. Yeah, this guy, he trashes a large character to draw some cards. Although this guy can trash anything and draw 2 cards. And he is in type, which I assume we'll get a Roger package, right? If anything, the new Asher event. Oh, you don't think they'll ban... I don't know if they'll ban Gum Gum Giant. I think it might be good for the game if they did, but my gut says they won't. I don't think they'll ban the Dead Man's Game, though. I don't think they'll errata cards. I just don't think that's how they're going to approach balance, really. I think they'd rather... It's at least from how we've got, like, the Moria recently and the Jinbei. It seems like they'd rather ban and reissue than errata. Right, we got this Moria recently as a replacement for the broken one. And, I mean, I'm excited to... Why is he called Gek KO Moria? I don't know what this is about. But, yeah, this guy is obviously way worse, but it seems pretty interesting still, you know? Blackbeard ban. Now you're talking my language. You bought 4 Rayleigh SPs. I think they probably will be relevant. I'd be very surprised if... Unless they literally don't print Roger Pirates cards. If they print Roger Pirates cards, you're going to see people playing this. Because towards the end of the game, you could just, like, slam this and leave up a bunch of Dons for, like, Igloos or Rad Beams. And then you're just never going to die, right? You may have missed it. So the way it works, Carl, is that on your 10 Don turn, no, you're not going to be able to play Roger because you have to put 1 Don on your leader. But on every other turn after that, provided you don't Don minus any Dons, you will start the turn with 10 because this only makes you give 1 to your leader when you're drawing Don from your Don deck. If you're just restanding, you're already on the field Don, but this doesn't fire. So you'd be able to play Roger on like your second 10 Don turn. It does require you to put 1 Don onto your leader every round up until the point when you're already at 10. But, yeah. So I saw I did see a list from the Yokusu channel. They were playing some early Roger gameplay, which was pretty fire. I love the Japanese channels that play with these cards like immediately. I'd really love to be able to do that, but it's hard practically. But yeah, what are we thinking? We're thinking Gob Thread as well. It's a lot of bricks. But all this ramp seems somewhat important. Would you consider the ST Tenkos Luffy with all the 8k blockers? You could do. I think just turning off blockers with something like Roger. Obviously, someone's got to be at 0 though for that, which is fair. Although if you're buffing your guy with Nugate, they can't just cleanly block anyway. So it's a going second only leader. I mean, you can still go first. But I do think you're probably right in that going second is better. Because then you can play It's to Die For on, like, that first turn. Well, second turn. Yeah, I think this could be pretty reasonable as well. Just getting up to your top end, I think is going to be important. The new 4-cost Shanks... That's a good thought, actually, the 4-cost Shanks. But he will fix your brick situation, to be fair, right? Where is he? There he is. Yeah, this guy. Turns your bricks into 2Ks. It's not bad at all. It's not bad at all. No 8-drop silvers. I don't think I really would want to play this as a removal deck. I think a good way, at least with the current support, is just going to be make your leader really big and uninteractable. Because then your opponent's going to be just going to have a hard time doing anything. Alright? 9-cost Shanks, and then have 8 cards to put you at 9k leader. Oh, the 9-cost Shanks doesn't work. This one from the starter deck. Yeah, you only get the on play if your leader is Red Hair or Uta. So yeah, he won't work with Roger, sadly. Yasop would work. That's true. But whilst you're sort of getting to your late game, just that 1k buff, it's not going to help that much. I think the ramp is going to be key. So the Japanese Roger plays 10k leader. Yeah, that's the video I watched too, Marcos. Yeah, the 7-cost kid plus 9-cost Nugate combo was just disgusting. It was crazy. And we need some more 2Ks, right? We probably do need 2Ks. There are any that ramp. You've got like a double finger. She ramps, right? Yeah, you could play this. It's not bad. You're going to have a lot of resources, and she does ramp. 10-cost Rush Shanks. Yeah, 10-cost Rush Shanks seems like another good boss monster. I think you're going to have a lot. It's like you probably want a couple of these. Does Katakuri even make the cut? If your leader's a 9k, he ain't blocking shit, so maybe you don't play Katakuri. I wonder if there's room to play like just a big red hair pirates build as well, because whilst you're getting to the top, I mean, Ben Beckman's not bad, right? Just remove something on curve. Yeah, 7-cost kid, it's kind of difficult to use. I wouldn't say it's mid, but it is difficult to use because you have to have this or this on the board. But I mean, the payoff's crazy, right? If you can become a 10k leader, that's kind of fire. That's kind of fire. 9-cost mum, that's something I think is fairly likely to get hit in some way. I think that card is kind of the problem for Blue Purple Luffy personally. Yeah, Katakuri does it like a chump blocker. That's quite funny. We need some more 1Ks. All the cards are good in this type of deck. What else were they playing in their list? Let me have a look. They had a bunch of, yeah, they had a bunch of like low cost ramp. They were playing where is he? This guy. I don't know about this guy. He's kind of funky though. What if you just loaded your deck with trigger ramps, right? What if you just loaded your deck with trigger ramps? You got 4 of these. You got 4 of these. Play like 4 of these. That's 12 trigger ramps. The chance of you hitting one in your first couple life is not that bad. Right? Kata seems good on the 9-don turn to get to 10. Yeah. Yeah, Kata would be good on exactly 9. I think you want to go second and double ramp. If you go first, it's really hard because you're not ramping on 3. On 5, you can ramp to 6. You draw to 8, but then you're not on 9. Whereas if you're on odds, if you can get like... I guess you only have this because Zorojuro never fires because we can't play Zorojuro. All Stars? Oh, All Stars? What do you mean All Stars? Not this, surely. I'm not sure what you mean, Lakal, sorry. 3-cost Zoro ramp. 3-cost Zoro doesn't work because you have to be at 3 or less life. And we're not going to be. We're not going to be. I wish this did. This one doesn't ramp, but yeah. Yeah, it is really awkward having to constantly have a Donya leader. The 4-cost event. Oh, the, what's that one called? Disaster. Lead Performer Disaster. Yeah, you could... How many trigger ramps can we put in one deck? 0 cost? Double 0 cost? It's probably too many, right? I think you're going to want a lot of ramp though, right? God Thread seems pretty good just because it clears a body. There's a lot of 5 costs out in the East, right? Zoro is playing the Chigis and Cavendish. Well, everyone's playing Cavendish. 5-cost Smokers in quite a few decks as well. If you face any Bettys, you can get rid of one of their dudes. Banning 9-mum. I think 9-mum is quite unique in what it does, but I know what you mean. But yeah, I don't know. You're going to want something else to play out as well, right? Once you get to the top. And we also only have 8 2Ks, which is probably a problem. Probably is Katakuri, right? Katakuri does help with your ramp, and it is a big blocker. Whilst you're, like, if you play it on 8, it's still a big blocker. Yeah, we might need more 2Ks. We might need more 2Ks. Blocker Brule. Yeah, it's another... That's another option. Does she have a... She doesn't have a trigger ramp, but she does block a hit and then ramp. It's probably filling the same slot as something like Basil Hawkins, right? This guy. This girl. We do probably want at least a couple or 2Ks. I think they were playing this in their list, the starter deck Uta. Because you're playing out like Newgates and Shanks and Roger, so the Uta could be reasonable. Just a 2-don blocker. That's also a 2K, obviously. Could drop an 8-cat, 7-cost kid. Usahachi is a card, actually. Yeah, we should probably have Usahachis in here. That card's pretty cracked. Has it got a... Ah, it's got a hyphen, the more you know. What would you cut, though? We're now at 54. We're now at 54. Maybe this is too much ramp? Maybe you could go down to, like, 2 Marias and 2 Hawkins. drop an 8-cost Kata, a 7-cost Kid, and maybe 2 other things. Yeah, 2-cost Chopper Blocker. 2-cost Chopper. He only ramps if your opponent is also ramping, right? Which, I mean, to be fair, a lot of decks are also ramping at the minute. But yeah, he only ramps if your opponent's also ramping, so I'm not sure about that one. The thing with the 10 costs, right? So you can't play a 10 cost on curve, but you can play on your second 10 Don turn, because the first effect only fires when you're still drawing Don from your Don deck. Bellamy. What does he do? You can rest 2 Don. Set of Don's Axe. That's... I think you could. It's a little slow though, right? Because if you play it on 4, you're not ramping immediately. But it might be better than this, because you can use it on like your next... What would be your next turn? You go to 6, you'd have 5. If you play Mr. 2, you would have 2 active for Bellamy. Yeah, you could play... This could be quite cute. And it's 4 more 1Ks. Which helps out with the brick situation a little bit. Yeah, maybe something like that. I mean, there's going to be a lot of cards that you want to play in this deck. Too much ramp. Triggers might work since you can freely take your life. Yeah, it's going to be a weird finding the balance. I think this deck is going to be somewhat reliant on whatever comes in the set. Because you kind of don't have a great mid-range. Because the ramp is awkward. Because your 4 Don turn, you've only got 3 Don. It's like normally you'd play out like Mr. 2 or Hawkins or even a 9 if you really wanted to go all in on the ramp. And then even if you're on odds, you can't ramp on 3 at all. And you can't play like God Thread on 5. So you are really limited in what ramp you can do. Go for Maria if you... Yeah, the Maria, I did see, I think he did that on one of the turns, right? You can ramp up and then just swing 7, and even if she deramps, you still got to swing 7. It is kind of cute. Maybe not this one. I mean, these are obviously the day 0 builds or whatever. 7-cost Kid seems bad unless you have 5-cost Kid. It also works with 8-cost Kata. He brings you 1 back, which is pretty cool. It does make it awkward on the turn, like on your turn. But on your opponent's turn, you're still going to be 8. But yeah, it is obviously much better if you have 5-cost Kid, for sure. You're definitely right there. Cologne. Yeah, I think something like this seems reasonable for Roger. I might take a snip. We'll save that one. No searchers. We don't have a Roger Pirate searcher yet. And I mean, if you look at a deck like this, there's not much synergy between the types. It's all kind of all over the place. Just because he doesn't have his package yet. You're gonna wait for the set? I mean, that's fair. I just like discussing early. I think it's interesting. Now this one I think we can be a little bit more... What the... How many ace cards are there? What the... Here he is. This guy, I think, has a bit more of a cemented package already, right? Because you've got so many Whitebeard Pirates cards in both red and blue. You could probably already make like a decent list for this guy. You want to see what Emu's going to do? Hey, me too, man. I'm hyped for Emu. How about Red Black Sabo? We'll do Red Black Sabo next. I wanna have a look at Ace right now. You think it's like UI Nami? Yeah, I can see that. 9-cost Nugget, I think at the moment is like the one card that I'm 100% sure is gonna go in Roger. Like that combo seems crazy. And speaking of 9-cost Nugget, this is another deck that can use him. You can just go to 8k. Still seems pretty good. And because he only costs 9, you can still put 1 Don on your leader to get this Don X1 effect, which is pretty reasonable. Isn't there that one event as well? The blue event. Yeah, this one. If your leader is a Whitebeard Pirate, you can play a Nugget from your hand, then you take a life, and then you get 2,000 extra power. Does that work with that? When you receive damage? No. No, that doesn't work. That's a shame. Imagine if this drew you a card as well. That'd be crazy. Yeah, I mean, you can go to 10k with that. It's probably bad, but it's kind of cute. It's kind of cute. Why is Ace 3 life? Yeah, because he's 6k, 6k multicolored. The same as like RP Luffy and UP Luffy. 7 cost Odin. Yeah, Odin. This card's been an all-star. I'm really excited for when we get this in the West. It's crazy that it's come so much later than Japan had it. Like, this is really important for Blue Yellow Nami as well. But yeah, you're probably very right that you're going to play this. And you've got double searches, right, as well. You've got this Izo. And you've got... Not that Izo. Where's the other one? There she is. He is. Yeah, I mean, you got 4 Izos. 4 blue ones, 4 red ones. You've already got like a solid Whitebeard Pirates package. And one card I think is going to be very good. Has he got it on here yet? Here it is, here it is. This card, right? Because this, with your leader effect, when he blocks, he dies. He draws 2. And then your leader gives you another one. So that's like a draw 3 on KO as a blocker. That combo seems pretty crazy. Because this does only work with your 6,000 base power characters or more. And I think the reason for that is because of this guy. Because otherwise you could just infinitely cycle and keep bringing him back. And he'd be like turbo unkillable. Which would have been very, very funny with this Marco. But even this Marco just drawing you 3 when he goes down. It's got to be crazy. Yeah, he's 6k base. This art's really weird as well. I'm not sure about this artwork. I don't know. It just looks a bit weird to me. His leg is like very long. Like his right leg, look. I don't know. You get to play Jozu as well, which is pretty cool. That card's got to be good. Card feels very good. And you got Odin. What are the Whitebeard? We should probably get some 2Ks in here. But one nice thing, right, is because of this other effect where you can ditch one card to be a 2K, you're not going to need to run a lot of 2Ks. I think like 8 is going to be more than enough with how many cards you're going to draw. Yeah, EBO2 Yamato, that's definitely a card you're going to play in this. We can filter by this. Kaizoku's site is very good. We can put on... Oh, look at this. We have technology. What does this one do? You can reveal 2. This one's got to be pretty good, right? Because you can bounce it with Jozu. You can bounce it with Odin. 3 life. Yeah, you don't get to heal. But I mean, Red Purple Luffy survived without healing. And he was really good back in the day. Say back in the day. He's still pretty good. When is Banlist? We're going to discuss the Banlist probably after we discuss the leaders. So, I don't know. In a bit. In a bit. Why not double search? We do have double search. We've got Izo. And we've got Izo. Never mind. There you go. This... Yeah, you can play both the vanilla 2Ks. This guy's a 2K? Damn, I didn't realize this guy was a 2K. That's crazy. Have we looked over Sabo yet? No, we did Roger. We just did Roger, and now we're on Ace. Sabo I'll probably do next. I think Bonnie is the one that most people are least excited for. Does this get rotated? Yes, currently this does. As does Ninebeard. But we're going to get these leaders, like, I think about 6 months before rotation. So there'll be a decent amount of time to play with, like, the full red and blue packages. That's probably enough counters, which is honestly really nice, because you've got 8, like, solid characters that you're happy to play. This combos really well with all your bounce targets. And this is just good on board, right? It's not a 2K? That makes sense. Oh, is it bugged on the deck builder? Honestly, this is probably still worth playing to just to proc your leader effect more reliably. But thank you for letting me know, Radango. We'll put another 2K in here. Let's go with this one. I prefer this artwork to the Ace. I don't think you'd ever want to take a life. That seems pretty miserable. And these cards are not that good. Jozu, Kingdu, and I mean, this one's the same. But yeah, Whitey Bay is really nice. Anyway, let's get rid of the cost. What are the good cards we have? Rush Ace. He's got to be quite strong, right? It's going to help you deal with your opponent's stuff. And then even if they KO it, I mean, you get to draw a card. So maybe we'll put some aces in there. OP02 Ace. Is that one? Yeah, that's from set 2. Oh, when is the ban list scheduled? Sorry, August. a date in August. We don't know exactly when. Yeah, we don't know exactly when. Who else have we got? There's this guy that gives dons as well. What about him? Oh, this one, of course. We've finally got a good list for this, right? We've finally got a deck list that can play this, and it's not a crappy ace leader. Man, that red ace sucks so much. But I mean, look, you can pop an 8k, pop a Kata, pop a Mihawk blocker, pop Luffy Taro, I don't know, whatever else. Double attack, swing 9. That's got to be crazy, right? And even if you brick up on a bunch of these, I mean, you can trash it to be a 2k. That seems good. Speed Jill. Is there a good Speed Jill? The only one I know is the vanilla. EBO1 Ezo. That gives a don, and yeah, you could stack up on the minus 2k buffs. That's not bad. That's not bad. Although, to be fair though, this is not searchable because both of these don't search Ezo. So that's a bit of a shame. Speed Jill Rush. There's another one. Let's have a look. Speed. Reveal 1. I'm not thrilled about playing a ton of cards with power less than 6,000. Just because then they've got a really good target that you don't get any reward from. EBO2 Yamato. Yes, I keep forgetting to put that in. Let's put that in. That's got to be a really good rush unit, right? You get a don every turn. You might not even need squad at that point with this Yamato. That's got to be good. 10 cost Whitebeard. I've been seeing people talk about this. That's the blue one, right? The blue one. Where's he gone? Put him up. Not that one. Yeah, this one. I mean, it's going to be live all the time, right? You're always going to be at 2 or less life. And forcing your opponent to trash all their cards is pretty cool. But it is all your dons, which means you won't have a don in your leader unless you've got one of these effects on the board already. I don't know, the cards just never quite worked out how I wanted to, and I've tried it in decks like Marco, but maybe this will be a deck where he can finally see some success. I'd love to. That'd be cool. That would be cool. I don't think there's any point playing this. I feel like we're just not a removal deck, right? Should we play this one? Probably not. I think this event is like a flashy combo, right? It's quite a flashy combo, but it's probably not worth playing. How many are we at? We're at 46 cards. We've got quite a lot of bricks. But that doesn't really matter, right? You have to sort of... It's weird thinking about deck building with this guy, because I'm looking at this over here. I'm looking at 22 bricks, and I'm going, holy crap. But it's not really 22 bricks, because the leader effect, right? Cavendish? Yeah, Cavendish could be quite good. It's not Whitebeard Pirate, so it might mess up your squad once or twice, but it's not bad. What are the other cards in ST22? Because I'm not that familiar with them, I can't lie. No, not that one. Yeah, because we still don't have the deck, so I've not really looked that... What's going on with this character? Who's this character? What the heck? Jozu. Damn, they brought back the vanillas. You hate to see it. So many vanillas. Once per turn, if this character be KO'd, you can instead trash one card. Reveal the top card of your deck. It's not great. There's a lot of vanillas in this deck. Wow. Oh, this could be quite good, right? This 4k counter, especially if we're... I mean, with this current build, we're 100% Whitebeard, other than the Yamato. But, having a very likely chance to get a 4k buff would be pretty good. Yeah, the event, I think it is bad, but it's definitely going to be something that I'm going to do a video on, obviously, when all this stuff comes out. So, I mean, that's a banger video. I'm a 10k leader or something. What's this one? Draw a card and bottom of 5. That's okay. I think something like that could be somewhere to start. You've got a big counter event. You can become an 8k leader. Odin's obviously a really good beater for the late game. And you can use him to bounce all of your, like, your Ezo, your Whitey Bay. You got Jozu while you're getting up there. It's the 7 cost ace. I'm quite excited for this deck. It looks a lot of fun. I do really like the 6k leaders. They are good. They are good crack. So yeah, I think that's probably a decent starting place for Ace. Let's I'm gonna take a snip of all these lists. Maybe I'll use them for something later. We'll see. Save that. And yeah, again, big up Kadi Kaizoku for already putting these in his deck builder. It's making this stream a lot more simple. When I was loading up, I was like, oh, I wonder if he has. And he had, which is excellent. We don't have to pull up any proxies on the screen. All right, well, let's clear this. Let's have a look at Sabo. Yes, this one I'm quite excited for. This seems like a much better version of Red Black Sabo, right? Obviously, there's not much similarity between them, but they're the same colors, same types. Now, this guy gains Dressrosa, which, I mean, could you play a Dressrosa package? Is there any Dressrosa red stuff? Let's change this. There is, like, no Dressrosa red cards. Well, they are all black and blue. Never mind. Good art. Yeah, this for a base art is absolutely fire, Frosty. They're kicking it out the park with the base arts. The Roger looks great too. Yeah, so we're probably not playing Dressrosa, which I think we're just on Revolutionary Army. But I mean, you get to play this card, and once your Donex 1 is online, I mean, he goes to 6k, which is just hard for your opponent to deal with, right? There's no way you're not playing this. We've got a Searcher here. We might play Stage. I'm not sure. I might take this out. We'll see what the deck list is looking like at the end. Surely this guy makes the cut. I'd imagine you play some copies of this guy. These are really important, like Hack and Morley, and maybe even Lindbergh, just to get your Donex 1 online. Like, as soon as you're 5'd on turn, if you dump a Hack, you put the 5th on your leader. Your leader goes back to 5k, which is lovely for the extra bit of defense. But making your characters all bigger as well. I mean, and if it's a Hack, well, he's now a 6k blocker, which is kind of cool. Hey, what's up, Dragon King? Yeah, we could have Dressrosa cards in the set. That'd be interesting. That would be interesting. It'd be also interesting to see if they are Rev Army Black cards. I mean, could be some nice buffs for Koala, right? Promo Koala, this one? Yeah, it's probably worth at least a couple copies, right? You do need the Donex 1. Let's put this guy in, before we forget. How many searchers do we need? Because you got this as well. You got this, you've got the... Do we not have the other... We don't have the other Koala searcher in there. Yeah, you've got this Koala, you've got the Betty. You've got the Stage. You've got the event. I mean, the stages are tried and true, right? You see them in... You see it in Reiju. You see it in, Blackbeard. I'm thinking on the spot. Surely you play the Stage, right? It's just mega consistency. Can you read his effect again? Yeah, sure. So Sabo's effect, if you have 4 or more life, he has 4,000 power. That's in your turn and in your opponent's turn, unlike Red Purple Kid. But Donex 1, when you have an 8 cost or greater character, your characters and this leader gain 1,000 power. So if you dump a Hack on 5 and then put a Don on your leader, well, your leader goes back to 5k and your Hack's at 6k. And it makes it a lot easier to defend your dudes. And also, I mean, this guy needs 7,000 power to do the power down. So it gets you halfway there. It means you only have to put 1 Don on Karasu, which is kind of nice. Yeah, the 6 cost Sabo, that's the 2k, right? Where's he gone? Is he in here? Oh, there he is. He's right at the bottom. Yeah, I mean, he's a good 2k. I don't know if we're ever getting to 15 or more cards in the trash. I'm not certain we are, especially with Dragon bottoming cards. This card does feel a little weird for the Rev Army package. Because, I mean, I've played a lot of Koala, and you're never anywhere near 15 in trash. So, other than Blackbeard, I don't really know what this goes in. And I don't know if you'd play this in Blackbeard, because you've already got Caribou. And you've already got, like, Vasco. He is a 2k blocker, he is, and you can summon him with Dragon. It's fun, and I guess he's a 7k blocker in this deck, right? Which is kind of cute. You probably want event over Stage. I mean, Stage also feels trash, but I do know what you mean, Redango. It's going to be... Interesting to see which ones you play. And what are we at? We're at 46 cards. We've got a lot of we've got only 8 2Ks. We should put another 2K in this deck. What other ones are there? We got this. Doesn't seem very good. Koala is probably worth playing, right? Annoying that you can't search this with this though. Yeah, the Rev Army searcher. But we've got 4 searchers. Right, you got the Betty, Koala, you got Stage, and this. So I think there's definitely arguments for all of them. You're not sold on Dressrosa Stage. I think we would need more Dressrosa cards for that, but it is always like a niggling thought in my mind when they put Dressrosa type on a leader for like no reason. It's like, oh, could we play Corridor Coliseum and rush with like Luffy's and stuff? I wish this Karasu was Dressrosa. And like, I know he wasn't there, so it wouldn't make logical sense, but if this guy had a character rush and you could just force them to trash immediately, that'd be kind of cracked. They would have made black Revo for Koala. And you hope they make red Rev Army cards. Looking at the red cards so far from OP13, it's all like random Goa Kingdom themed cards. Like Dadan, you've got Makino, you've got Whoop Slap. It adds cards to choose trash. Yeah, I can definitely see the argument for this. There's I'm just a big fan of these stages that like constantly give you search to increase your consistency. Maybe we don't play the Betty. Maybe go with Koala, event and stage, something like that. Red Black Sabo from set 1. Red Black Sabo is from set 5. Would be cool to see OP13 2 Red Black Sabos, it would. Whoop Slap he's got one of the best names for sure. Black Ivankov, he's the little blocker guy, right? I'm not a huge fan of this guy, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I think if we go minus one of these up to 4 dragon, because I have seen a little bit of gameplay with this leader, and the dragon seemed crazy, right? Because he gives you your Donphy leader, obviously, which, assuming you're at 3 life or less, you're swinging for 8, he's swinging for 10. That's pretty good, right? And that's on top of whatever other characters you've got on the board as well. It's 4 red leaders in this new set. Yeah, there are. That is crazy, honestly. Watch Emu be, I don't know, red, yellow or something. Red, probably just 3 brothers colors. Yeah, I think you're probably right there, Levi. Did you already talk about Roger? Yeah, we did talk about Roger quite briefly. I did save I saved a little picture of it. The list. Where was it? We made something like this. But Roger, I think, is really going to be reliant on his new support. Because, like, this kind of works. I think Newgate plus Roger is, like, the obvious combo. But there's not a lot of synergy between these types of cards. And you're just sort of ramping to big guys, which is fine. But I think the Roger support is going to be quite key for Roger. ST21 Rush Leader? Do you mean the Rush Luffy? There's no green yet. What if Emu... Luffy is red-green. The Luffy's red-green. I also forgot he was green. But he is. Yeah, Roger seems fair. I think Roger's going to be good. I don't think Roger's going to be broken, but I've seen people saying Roger's going to be trash, and there's no way. There's no way. You hope Shanks comes back? Man. I need to play more Shanks. I was testing it a little bit with some of the homies yesterday. It's not as bad as I initially thought in set 11. It's still not great, but OP13 is the coolest base rarity leaders. It really does. Like, check this out, man. This is probably my favorite one of the bunch as well so far. It's all about support. Look at Rayleigh. Yeah, you're right there. You're right there. We all thought that leader was going to be trash, myself included. And honestly, the leader effect still is kind of trash. But that 4-cost Luffy, man, that guy's crazy. It's like a 4/6 with counter. And it summons the 3k. It's insane. That card's wild. Zoro seems cool, but he's going to hate seeing Zoro. Do you mean Green Zoro? Yeah, it's going to be tough in the early game, but once you get to the late game and you're buffing up your characters, I don't know, maybe it'll be a little bit easier for you to defend them. It does suck that all the Zoro cards hit original cost, though. That's a real shame. I think something like this is a solid place to start for Sabo. You might not need all these searches, is one thing I'll say. And there's probably room for other, like, generic, big top end, right? Like, you could probably try cards like Stussy. She's not bad. I've played this in Koala, and it was quite useful. Just being able to trash, like, one of your little searches and get rid of anything. That seemed pretty good. Is this set the start of block 4? It is, actually. I hadn't considered that, but it is. People thought blue-purple would be trash, too. Did they think it'd be trash? I can't remember. I think my initial reaction was it would be quite good. But yeah, when we got the reveals, right? That was when the gear second was sort of one of the biggest cards. Because it being a 3k and a ramp was crazy. Rayleigh. Yeah, you could play 8-cost Rayleigh. He's always a consideration. I think there's a lot of 7ks going around, though, in the next set. I mean, Tashigi 7k. We've already got Beer Luffy. We've already got Sanji Pudding. So I think Rayleigh is a little worse than he used to be, but you could probably still include this. And you could include some of the other 4-cost revolutionaries, right? You've got this guy can summon more guys, and you can buff him up pretty easy. You got Lindbergh as well. Wherever Lindbergh is, him and Morley. They're both alright. And their triggers do fire, which is interesting. I always thought it sucked that you couldn't trigger these out in Dragon. So I was a big Dragon enjoyer back when Dragon first came out. Me and one of my homies both really liked Dragon, but the fact that these triggers didn't work was always sad. What's the drink of the day? The drink of the day at the moment is a white monster. I'm not a big white monster enjoyer, but it's cold, and I was passing the shop, and that's all they had that was cold. And it's so hot here. It's been very warm, and I've been at work all day. 8-cost black secret Sabo. Yeah, you can include that. I've been quite low on this card recently. Not going to lie, I didn't feel it was that useful in Koala. But it's always a consideration, especially when he's searchable. You realise Sabo is a 5-life 6k leader. Yeah, I think people are I think people are underlooking. What? Overlooking? Whichever one. They're not, like, giving enough credit to both this and Roger being 5-life. It just gives you so many more resources and such good defense. And yeah, you're a 6k leader late game. It's like Black Luffy. Like, that deck was super overlooked. And, I mean, it didn't last very long. It was a bit of a flash in the pan. But for that format when it first came out, it was genuinely quite strong. I mean, the Italians popped off with it in Liverpool, I think it was. And then it saw quite a few more placements after that. Just having this amount of resources and 6k leader, it's pretty good. Same people who say Roger will be trash. Nah, Roger's definitely not going to be trash. There's no way that a 7k leader can be trash. Maybe it won't be like tier 1, I don't know. It really depends on what his support is, but there's no way it's going to be bad. Prediction for Banlist. We've just covered 3 leaders. We'll cover the Bonnie, then we'll go on to the Banlist, Chris. But definitely something in Blue Purple Luffy. There's no way he's dodging the there's no way he's dodging the hammer. That guy's doing crazy well. Let's take a grab of this. Solid deck, 9-cost Shanks. 9-cost Shanks, you can play early, but you don't get the buff. I did see the Japanese video that was including this. And I mean, it's fine. But if your opponent doesn't play an 8,000 base power unit, then it's just really bad. Because you don't get the buff, because it only buffs Redhead and Uta. So I'm a bit mixed on... So I'm not very hot on playing this card outside of, well, Shanks. Right, let's clear this. Bonnie. I think Bonnie is definitely one that people are looking forward to a little bit less. Yeah, so Bonnie, if you're not familiar, she's an egghead leader. So Vegapunk support probably coming in this set, which is quite exciting in its own right. But your turn once per turn, when you play a character with a trigger, you give 2 rested Don to something. And I mean, currently you're sort of locked into the egghead package because she's not a supernova, sadly. So all the supernova leaders, like this one, and obviously some of the other ones, won't work with Bonnie, which is a real shame. I understand it's like lore reasons that she's no longer a supernova, but it would have been cool if she was. I think this is going to be a really good one. I mean, this is effectively a 1 Don play, right? because you get 2 of them back to put on your leader. And then this is going to help you with your draw later on. And this card's been kind of bad in Vegapunk. So it'd be pretty cool to see it if it was good in Bonnie. Onami? Yeah, Onami's a good inclusion. It's got a hyphen, doesn't it? It does. Yeah, this is a... I guess this is just free, right? Yeah, this is just free and gives your leader banish. That's pretty smart. I like it. I like it a lot. Bring the hammer down on the leader. Oh, I don't like banning leaders. You like the art? I like the art too. I think the art on all these leaders is really good. Except the ace. I'm not that hot on the ace. I can't lie. His leg is too long. But, so the problem with a lot of these egghead cards is the triggers are all locked, right? So, like, Shaka is fine, but your leader is not Vegapunk, so you can't use it. You're sort of locked to using the non-scientist egghead cards, which makes it a bit weird. This guy's trigger is ridiculous, by the way. Don't forget this guy's trigger. It's just buffs your leader by 2 for the turn. I think we're probably playing Frankie. I think you probably will still be end up playing a heavy egghead package. I'd be surprised if you don't, because you still can play you can make really good use of the Nami. This is like a 3 Don, trash 1, draw 1, pop a 5. That seems strong. Do we have any other good egghead cards? These S guys aren't locked. Like this one. This one's not bad. Luffy gets the gets the law buff every time, man. Yeah, I think both OP13 and the Egghead deck are going to have a lot more Egghead cards to buff this leader and whatever the Luffy leader is as well. Presuming that one's yellow. I don't think that's confirmed yet. Yeah, is it confirmed that the Egghead Luffy is yellow? Yellow Boa, you're right on that one. That one is good. Yeah, this card's from PRB, trash 1 trigger card, and then you freeze one of your opponent's leaders or characters. I mean, this into green Zoro is cracked. Like, that's just brutal. It's like the 4-cost Arlong. We see how ridiculous that was into Zoro. This does the same thing. And you can also tag a character. Triggers, whatever, but the fact that it says trigger is important. You hope they don't make the mistake of banning any cards in Bello Betty. I agree. Vanillas with triggers can be good. Which vanillas have triggers? Are there vanillas with triggers? You got this guy. This sucks, though. Satori, he certainly is a trigger card. I guess we're playing Derashi, right? Thinking about it. Where's that card? Yeah, this one. Like, if our whole deck is based around triggers, surely Derashi is pretty good. Sanji? The blocker, do you mean the blocker Sanji? Yeah, I mean, guess he's a 2/5 blocker, right? That seems pretty good. What are we at? We're at 36. I don't think that, maybe there aren't enough Egghead cards at the minute to play Lilith. Maybe there aren't. Maybe we'll take her out. You think one of the best cards to ban is 9-cost Sanji and Gum Gum Giant? Yeah, I don't think they'll ban Sanji. I think Sanji's fine. It's only Blue Purple Luffy is broken. Like, in Marco, 9-cost Sanji doesn't feel unfair, right? I've played against and as a Marco a bunch, and it doesn't feel unfair. Onami instant include. Yeah, we've got Onami. Someone pointed that out earlier. Shout out to whoever mentioned Onami. Does seem like a good card. 0 Don banish. Seems good. And the trigger is actually very good on this one. You've heard new Egghead Luffy's yellow. I've heard that too, but I think it's just speculation at this point. It seems likely, though. Does seem likely. Kuma. That is a good point. Kuma does seem very strong. It's a shame none of the trigger cards have particularly high cost, right? I mean, you've got, like, next to no 7 or higher costs other than this that have triggers. So it means that, like, once you're playing your bombs, you're going to have a bit of difficulty in using this leader effect. You could play Robin. You could play Robin. Robin's probably decent. Hey, Chris, how you doing? You're going to be maining Roger? Roger definitely is going to be exciting. We've only got 4 2Ks. Let's put some more 2Ks in. Let's put the funny 2K in. Hey, you can play him as a 1-3 vanilla. What a time to be alive. Counter 2000. Are there any other good ones with triggers? Satori. I'm not excited by this guy. If you're playing a bigger egghead package, then Usopp's obviously a good card. Yep, we are not Revolutionary Army. We're not Nico Robin. Zeus is fine. This could be alright. This is a good trigger, right? And it's just a 2-5 at the end of the day if you play it with your leader effect. Or play it to use your leader effect. Maybe we try that. 1 cost event Kuma. Kikunojo. Yeah, Kikunojo seems good. I do like Kikunojo. Go to that. Gosh, we're already at too many cards. There's too much good stuff. 1 cost event Kuma. What 1 cost event? Cost 1 type event. This one. This one? Oh, we have to be multicolored? Shit, you're right. Reading's hard. I'm a card game player. Reading is hard. Oopsies. Rush Zoro. Yeah, Rush Zoro could be alright. He gives you... Is he locked to supernovas? Actually, is he locked to supernovas? I can't remember. No, he's not. The trigger is. The trigger's locked, but he is... And you do have to have less life, which, I mean, to be fair, if we're playing into a lot of, like, blue-purple Luffys and Rogers and things that really want to take life early, I'm not sure how much this is going to be live. Brule 2K. This one. It's okay. It is okay. It's okay. Any other good... What other good 2Ks are there? In Hiyori, you can put some funny stuff in life, maybe. She's not free, though, which is a shame. Yeah, this is locked to Wano. So many of the trigger guys are locked. It's a real shame. If you're going with Egghead, yeah, you just play like Usopp or Edison. Maybe just some of these. 2 of those, something like that. That's a lot of 1Ks. And not much top end. No. Yamato 9 cost. Egghead Brook. Which one's the Brook? Forget. There's so many of those. What's this for? If your leader has the Egghead type, you're running 6 or more. That's a very funny trigger, actually. I hope we get a good way to stack your life. Like, I know Hiyori does that, but it's a one-time deal and you've lost the Hiyori. If you can stack some of these Egghead stuff in life. I did see one really interesting idea that someone had for the Luffy leader. They said that it could have an effect where you can activate the trigger of one of your Egghead cards or something. So you could, like, maybe play a Frankie for free or use this to rest something for free. Or, like you say, use the Brook to force your opponent to trash 2 cards. And I thought that was quite an interesting thought. Yeah, this deck definitely is going to get support in both this set and the starter deck. Because, like you say, it clearly wants to be based around the Egghead package. But so many of the scientists being pseudo-locked to Vegapunk is a little tough. You wish you'd make more interesting leaders other than gambling your life away for triggers. Yeah, I think this leader's cool. I also like Kid. I think Kid is really good yellow leader design. And lore, as green yellow lore as well. Although he sort of plays into the green stuff a lot. The 2K lore will be good if he's released by the time. The 4 cost one. He's locked to supernovas, unfortunately, on the trigger. I've made that mistake before with Rosinante. I tried to use this trigger and it just didn't work. And I was like, damn. What a fool. 6 cost Momo. Yeah, Momo's not a bad card. He doesn't have a trigger, so you wouldn't get the attached done. And returning them doesn't do a whole lot. But, yeah, I mean, it procs his effect, which is kind of funky. What do you replace the beige and sandy for? I mean, we're going to get way more cards before this set even comes out. I'm not thinking about rotation. Rotation's 6 months after this set comes out. Kid and Laura, great. Did we make No, not Banlist predictions yet. We're going to do that after Bonnie, which I think we're about to wrap up with. Is this version of Bonnie not supernova? No, sadly. Sadly not. There's a red Vegapunk D21. There certainly is. We'll pull him up. He is a 1-3 vanilla, I believe. Man. Why did they put so many bad vanillas in this set? I thought we were done with like the 1 and 2 cost vanillas. So crazy. That looks bad. It looks a little sus at the minute. Yeah. Oh well, let's take a grab for now, and then we'll move on to some ban list discussion. Save that. So, what are the cards that people think might be banned? I've seen Luffy, Blue Purple Edition. I've seen Linlin, Giant. We'll discuss any potential unbans after we talk about bans. I've seen people talking about Hody. I've seen a couple of people have mentioned Dead Man's Game. What else have you seen people talking about? I think, is this about it? Is this about it? Is there anything else that you think could get banned? I've seen people talking about Karasu, actually. I think that's unlikely myself, but Rebecca? No, surely not. Surely not at this point. Green Purple Luffy bans? Green Purple Luffy's not even the second most popular deck in Japan. Green Zoro is definitely on that slot. If you were gonna hit Green Purple Luffy, I don't think there's a good card outside of Giant, right? Sanji Pudding? Surely not. I mean, we'll put it on here. We'll put it on here. We'll discuss it. Just Pudding? Oh, we could put this guy here as well. Is there anything else other than these cards that anyone wants put on the screen for potential bans? You think it shouldn't stack? I think it's fine. It's somewhat easy to remove. Like, they don't have any removal protection other than the boat buffing the cost, but you're still very vulnerable to red removal. Red Rock, sure, we could put Red Rock on there. I think if Red Rock wasn't rotating, red. Giant, you've already got that. Shoe Buggy. That is a controversial card. That is a controversial card. Restrictions. You can see, what restrictions do you think? And we can talk about restrictions and bans at the same time. What do you think, Say My Name? What restrictions are you thinking of? Zero cost yellow event. Shoe Buggy should be a 2-of restriction. I mean, most people are only running 3 anyway, so I don't know how much that would change it. Right, nobody's mentioned anything else super urgently, so we'll discuss these cards one by one. Crockhawk? Okay, we'll put Crockhawk on there. That's the last one for now. Alright, so let's talk about Blue Purple Luffy first, because like that deck's got crazy representation. I'll see if I can pull up the stats from OP Hirata. If he's got a recent post. Yeah, log in. Oh, my Twitter account is not logged in. Never mind. I need to do that. But yeah, I think Blue Purple Luffy, I mean, it's got the most representation in Japan by an absolute mile. The last post I saw from Hirata was something like, it was like 200 Luffys and then 60 Zoros in second or something, topping flagships. And I mean, I didn't watch the breakdown from this CS, but last weekend, it was what, like 7 Luffys out of top 16, which was crazy. Full of lead. I think the time's passed on that. We'll put some more on then before we fully go into it. Full of lead. Someone said Luna. Hawkins. I don't think so, but I'll put him here for you. I'll put him here just for you, Frosty. Unbanned. Zeus. Are we entertaining Zeus? No, I'm not entertaining Zeus. That card's not getting banned. Unbans, we'll talk about unbans after the bans. I'd like to keep it a little bit separate. You think the leader's the problem? So yeah, let's talk about Blue Purple Luffy. I see people talking about the leader. And I mean, the fundamental benefits of the leader, right? You get to draw an extra card every single turn. And you get to stack your deck, which just pops off with this guy. It's very strong, but your early game is trash. Like, you have nothing in the early game. There's people playing the 3-cost Doflamingo blocker, which, for what it's worth, I don't think is a very good card in the deck, personally. But that's how, like, bad the early game of this deck is. You're just ramping. And I mean, that's fine. But it has its weaknesses, right? You're very weak to aggro decks like Zoro and Betty. Less so Zoro, but Betty especially. And decks that can protect their characters, like Red Green Smoker, that you can't remove with things like Godthread or Raging Tiger, are reasonable into this deck. And I think if more decks had sort of more protection, then this would be weaker as well. Which is why I think, personally, Big Mum is the problem card. And I don't know how hot a take this is. I've seen a lot of people complain about Big Mum recently. Since the ban announcement, at least. This getting rid of the 6, it's so brutal. And I think the moment that it sort of went that way for me, so I was playing Robin. And in Black Purple Luffy, the Beer Luffy, getting to stick on the board against Blue Purple, just makes it so hard for them to do really anything. Because if they play a big guy, they can't swing at their leader and leave it on open. So it's only their character swinging. So you get so much more extra defense from that beer. But in Robin, because they can just life your Beer Luffy with the Big Mum, it was brutal. It was really brutal. And it sort of got to the point where I was like, I just hope they don't have Big Mum. And that's true for a bunch of cards as well, right? Like the 5-cost Smoker, obviously you have protection in like RG Smoker with the Shigi. But if you don't see it, or they can remove it with a trigger, and your Smoker just goes to life, you're like, ugh, I just kind of lose now. So I do think, personally, for me, Big Mum is the card. It gives you the healing, obviously, so you can be greedy with taking your own life early on. And it makes aggro decks have a worse time into you. And the removal, it's the removal that's crazy. It removes so many things. Let's see what people are saying. Unban reject. We'll move on to unbans later. Enel leader? No. He draws what he wants. Yeah, he draws whatever he wants out of the top 5. 2 cards per turn. It is crazy. But if they're not seeing any Big Mums, I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's that bad. It's this card for me. Like, if they're playing Mihawk, they can get the removal, but they don't get the heal. And if they're playing Rush Luffy, well, they'll get maybe an attack, but they won't get the removal, and they won't get the heal. Pretty crazy how you can even set up triggers. Yeah, you can set up like Red Rock trigger, Raging Tiger trigger, Ramp trigger. It's crazy. Mum would be nice to test the waters. Yeah, nobody else is playing this. It's another valid argument, right? This is designed for Purple Big Mum Pirates decks. Pudding doesn't play this. Kata doesn't play this. The only deck playing this is Blue Purple. What triggers does UP have? It's mainly the removal triggers that I think are brutal. Red Rock and Raging Tiger. And the fact you can set them up in life with this is nasty. I had a game at locals against a Law player, Green Yellow Law, and I put I put one of them. I think it was a Raging Tiger. It was a red. I put a Red Rock in my life, and then I defended a lot of his swings, and then on his last swing, I took it, bottom decked his 2-cost beige, and on the next turn used Raging Tiger to bottom deck like his Cavendish and a blocker Law. And it was like, I've just destroyed your entire board because of that trigger. It's kind of nuts, man. The triggers are crazy. You think unbans are the correct way? We'll talk about unbans in a minute, Chris. We will definitely go on to unbans. I think there's a couple of cards that you could look at. If you think if they ban 9-cost Big Mum, it would be good for the game. I agree. This is the card that I think should be banned. And the fact that it wasn't printed in PRB doesn't mean anything, right? Because they did print Gecko Moria in PRB 1 and then banned it. And I wouldn't be surprised if they just forgot about this card or something. Or looked at the price and were like, nah. But it is worth noting that this isn't getting a reprint. Big Mom Ban might kill a lot of purple decks. I can't think of any other deck. Purple Kata's not usually playing this card. They're playing the Purple Kata, and they're playing the big 10 Mum. Also, before this ban announcement hits, we'll probably get PRB, maybe. And that has that new pudding that Kata can play as well. That pudding's going to be really cool. Isn't there Perona lets you order the top 5? Is there a reason that... In what deck, Marco? Yeah, there's a lot of blue cards that let you stack your deck. You got, like, Duval, 3-cost Doffy, Perona, X-Drake is a really bad one. But yeah, there's a bunch of them. You think Gum Gum Giant will go? We'll definitely talk about Giant next. Definitely. Your game got a reference? Your game? Oh, hi, Chris. Took me a minute. Big Mom needs to go. It means the blue Perona. Yeah, I know he means the blue Perona. You don't see that in Blue Bubble Luffy because your leader effect does the stacking. But it was a good card in Doflamingo back in the day. But yeah, let's talk about Giant. Let's talk about Giant. Because I know a lot of people really hate this card. And it is kind of toxic, don't get me wrong. It is kind of toxic. But without this, like, how good are these purple Luffy leaders, right? How good is... Maybe not this one. This one probably would still be good. But how good is mono purple Luffy and how good are green purple Luffy? Because I don't think they want to kill decks, and neither of those decks are broken. Like, they're both good decks, but neither of them are broken. And same for black purple. I could see this being limited. I don't think this being banned is a good idea. I think if they want to limit this to 1 or 2 copies, it introduces a new dynamic, right? Where after you see your opponent use it, especially if there's only 1, after your opponent uses it, you don't have to play around it anymore. Which, when you know your opponent doesn't have Giant, because, I don't know, they've only got 2 cards in their hand, and you know what they are. It's so much easier to go for lethal. But when this is an option on the table, that's when it's crazy. So if there was only 1 or 2 copies and you've already seen them all either go to the trash or be used, I mean, it's going to make those end games way easier to deal with. So I don't think a ban on this is necessary, because that would honestly just really gut purple Luffy and green purple Luffy and maybe black purple Luffy too. But I could definitely see a limit. They'll drop it when you... I don't like banning leaders. This leader effect... Where's my mouse has died. Nope, it's back. This leader effect isn't broken. It's very, very good. But it's not broken. Sakazuki at the time was hella broken, and we'll cover Sakazuki later. I think he could probably come back at this point. Red Purple Law was fundamentally flawed. Like, that deck was just not balanced at all. But I don't think this leader effect is fundamentally broken. It's just very good in combo with, like, these 3 cards. These 3 cards all existing in the same deck as this effect is crazy. You think Gum Gum Giant could be once per turn? I mean, limiting it to 1 effectively does that, so it'd be a reasonable fix. You can do Sanji on any turn anyway, because the leader stacks the rest of the cards that you look at from the top 5 on top. We all know they're not going to ban it. I don't think they will ban Giant. I think a limit is somewhat likely, though. Green Purple got over a 23k swing of mine for top cut at a local event because they had 3 Gum Gum Giants. I had a game with the homies last... No, my mouse is very much dying. I had a game with... Yeah, my mouse is fucked. I'm going to need to grab either a backup mouse or my cable. I'll be right back. We're back, gamers. Backup mouse is here. Yeah, I had a game with the homies yesterday where I overcounted for a laugh. But, yeah, I think I went to 26k. with one Gum Gum Giant and like a handful of 2Ks. It's crazy. Yeah, it's the fact for me that the way this card is broken, it's just the fact that it draws 2. Like, if this was trash 1, 4K, then draw 1, that'd still be crazy good, right? So, oh, what's going on with Razor? Go away. Yes, go away. I've not plugged this mouse into the computer before. If this was like a trash 1, draw 1 on top of the counter effect, it would be so much more balanced, right? Man, it's crazy. How about I don't like erratas, Twiggles. I'm not a fan of erratas. It just makes the game more obtuse for newer players. I prefer ban and reprint, which seems like what they're going for with the new Moria and the new Jinbei. What else did I miss? Pudding should not be banned. I don't think so either, but somebody did mention it, so we will talk about it. It wouldn't gut them, but it would require them to build a deck. Yeah. You don't need to ban all 3 cards, though. You definitely don't need to ban Sanji. I don't think Sanji should be banned in any way. Like, it's very, very good when they get it, but it's really only this one that scares me. Like, if they Sanji Luffy, that's great. But it's not this card. This card just removes my guy and gives them a life. For no cost. This card to me is just ridiculous. It was very obnoxious in purple Luffy back when this deck was spamming it. They can't really play it anymore because they have to play the Rush Luffy because of this deck. Because you just don't have the pressure, and this doesn't do anything against blue-purple Luffy. Hope not Hody. I don't think Hody either, but I saw some people talking about him, so... Your perfect fix would be limit Gum Gum Giant to the current leaders that are currently at 5k power only and draw 1. Yeah, I think erratas are just not a great way to go. I don't like cards that do something else than what it says on the card. And like when there's a printing error and such, it is what it is, but... Sanji's getting a manga. No, I don't think it's getting banned either. I don't think it's getting banned. I think for me, we'll move on from Blue Purple Luffy now. But for me, I don't think you need to ban the leader, because I don't think the effect is fundamentally broken. It's just very, very good. I think Gum Gum Giant needs to be limited or banned if they don't want to do limits. But I think a limit to 1 or 2 copies would be totally fair. And I do think Big Mom should go. This card is not seen play in any other deck than Blue Purple Luffy. And this just being removal as well, it's like a double heal because it denies your opponent of a swing and it gets you a heal. And the fact that you can stack triggers into life with this is just like the cherry on top. For me, this is the broken card. Sanji's a fun card. Yeah, it is. In Marco, like, Marco with this card is so fun. It's really good. You play Linlin, your Purple Cata. You play this one in Purple Cata? That's interesting. You don't see that many Purple Catas playing this. Move Gum Gum Giant. Ban Bello Betty? I don't know about that one. They're not hitting Cavendish. That card's very fair. How many people cheat at local events? I'm sorry your local events are like that, James. Our local events are small, but everyone's very friendly. You play Purple Black Luffy? Linlin's played in Robin? I don't think you want to balance around, like, bottom of rogue decks, though. Robin sucks. Like, she's fun. Don't get me wrong. She's very fun. But she does suck. They have to leader lock more. I agree with leader locking in general. It's definitely balanced. But, hey, this card's leader locked and it didn't help him. You think their fundamental design philosophy around purple is flawed? I think they've sort of overcorrected because purple was ass. Was it atrocious or was it someone else? Someone made was it purposefully? Someone made a really good video going over like the history of purple in One Piece, which was a really cool video. And it was just like purple is ass, purple is ass, purple is ass. Now purple's insane broken, you know? I don't know. Is there any other cards like Karasu that drop your leader's power level? No. It is one of a kind. It is one of a kind. Your Bello Betty is Zoro Sanji. More aggro. Doesn't exist. Yeah, Zoro Sanji is really cool. Right, let's move on from all this stuff. I guess we'll just go in order. Pudding. Someone wanted Pudding banned. I think this is more of just a... I don't like the card type ban. And a set or two ago, I felt more strongly about this card when like Doflamingo was everywhere. Because that deck had the time to play like a 4-cost Pudding. And like you still play this in decks like Kuzan, in Blue Purple Luffy, and in Blue Yellow Nami. But if they're playing that, they're not playing something scarier. So I honestly think this card is less good than it was when Doflamingo was abusing it. Because Doflamingo could, like, swing 7, play Jinbei Weevil, and then still play Pudding. For such a low cost, it was crazy. It was crazy. So I don't think Pudding will be banned now. If this was going to be banned, it would have been when Doflamingo was tier 1. The new Mora is a perfect example. I agree with that. The new Mora is really good card design. I'm a big... Unless we end up playtesting with it, and it's insane cracked. In which case, it's trash. Isn't Bello Betty just strong? Yeah. Bello Betty is a product of the meta. It's got a very good matchup into this. It's got a very good matchup into green-purple. And it's got a pretty reasonable matchup into some of the other top decks as well. But it's really just like, you beat this, you beat green-purple. That's good enough as a good starting point. Pudding was printed for O2 Whitebeard, kind of. Pudding's powerful. It's powerful, but it forces your opponent to not be greedy as well. And sitting there while your opponent has like a 12-card hand, isn't that fun? You don't understand how the ramping color can also do everything. The design around purple is they can do everything, but it costs them Don. That's the idea, at least. It's had mixed results, right? It's definitely had mixed results. It's both. The existence of Pudding prevents slower decks from competing at all. Like, Enel will be more playable. I think Enel's issues are greater than Pudding. Enel's issue right now is, now that he doesn't have Raygo, you can't deal with top end. Like, this deck plays Sanji Luffy, and you just concede. Also, the 6-cost Luffy's pretty rough for NL to deal with. I don't think Pudding is the card that kills NL, but I do understand what you mean. Reiju's a well-designed purple deck. Yeah, Reiju's cool. I think it's a shame that Ichiji is so much better than Yonji and Niji. I'd like if all the Gs had a bit more power, because like you just want to play Reiju and Ichiji. The other two are terrible. And Ichiji's miles better than Reiju. Even Reiju just draws cards. I think it's a little centered around Ichiji, but it is cool, very cool design. No way they ban Giant. I could see a Giant ban, but I don't expect. I think a restriction is what I'd prefer, and hopefully it's what we'll get. Why use 8 Don swing 13 when you can just play 4 Don to play Pudding? Yeah, I mean, Pudding's good, but if your opponent has 5 cards in hand, Pudding is useless. So it's a card your opponent's got to respect and play around, which is fine. Should have them draw the same amount back. No, that would be really bad, Chris. If you played 4 Don to, like, shuffle your opponent from 10 to 10. Imagine they ban Karasu. We'll talk about Karasu now. We'll move on from Pudding. Karasu, in some respects, I said a long time ago before, I think before I even started doing YouTube, this effect is broken. Like, this effect is giga broken. But in a vacuum. With them, like, with respect to the meta, I don't think this actually is broken. It's very, very good. And it's one of a kind, right? There's nothing else that debuffs leader, which is crazy. But it's leader locked, right? So it's leader locked to Rev Army, so it's only a very limited amount of decks you can play it in. You've got Betty, the 2 Sabos now, Dragon's ass, old red-black Sabo is ass, so it's really only Betty that you play this in. And, would Betty be good without it? Yes. Would Betty be as good and topping without it? No. And one of the reasons is obviously into this deck, you just bring them down to 5, which is crazy at the moment. So then you can swing with all your searchers that have been buffed up. You can swing with your leader for free, whereas previously you wouldn't be able to. Hey Phipps, you agree that Brothers aren't as good? Yeah, they both. Do I see any unbans happening? We're going to do unbans after we finish talking about bans. Yonji Blocker is a one-of. Yeah, they're fine as one-of, both Yonji and the Niji. And Niji having the new 2K vanilla is kind of a bit of a buff to him. Hey Vips, hey Harpy, how are you doing? Why do I have 10 costs in the deck? 10 costs in what deck? In Roger? I have 10 costs in Roger because you can play 10 costs in Roger. It's only on curve that you can't. Once you get your second 10 Don turn, you don't have to attach your Don to leader. But yeah, moving back to Karasu, I don't think there's a reason to ban this. You're only seeing Betty really popular and powerful at the moment because of the meta. Like, if this deck got... Say the leader got banned, right? Let's just say the leader got banned, hypothetically. the whole meta is going to change. Because so many of what is good is based around what has a chance to beat this. Right? Even like Zoro is not that good, like Red Zoro is not that good into this. And maybe if this got banned, you'd see more Red Zoro. Maybe you'd see, I don't know, more black decks come back. Because, yeah, Lucci has the thing where he can play the Tenzan. But if they red rock the Tenzan, well, you don't see it. You just lose. So maybe you'd see black removal come back. I don't know, the meta would completely change without this deck. Because it's so dominant and also so prevalent that it really is just warped around him. So, I don't know. I don't think this needs to be banned. As long as you're hitting this. Hopefully they wait until OP12 is finishing to ban or restrict it. I don't know when the restrictions will come in. They're being announced in August, so they'll probably happen in September, which will be like mid OP12 for us. 9-cost Sanji's getting angry. He is indeed, so that is another reason they wouldn't potentially ban it. I agree with the Dolphin. I think she is a product of the meta. If you change the meta, Betty's trash. I mean, Betty has been bad, or at least like mid to rogue, whatever you want to call it, since she came out. You've seen her top here and there, but it's not been a dominant threat. It's only dominant because of the meta. It's like a counter deck, and that's fine. Which will be the only deck in the game that still wants to ramp at 9. Yeah, it's true. That's true, Chris. Ban 10-cost Kuzan. Don't know about that one. Only in Japan. Blue Purple. Yeah, Blue Purple's not doing as well in the West. I think apparently it's because of Green Zoro. That's what I'm being told. Let's move on. Someone said Hawkins. Let's get this guy out of here. They've never restricted a card. They have restricted cards back before I was playing. Back in set 2 and set 3 when like red was just broken. They restricted a lot of things. I can't list them off the top of my head. But they did restrict a lot of cards back then. I wasn't playing. I only started in set 6. Sanji Pudding is a card that I've seen a few people mention. It's not very popular. I don't think this should be banned. I think there's not really any reason to hit this. Green Purple Luffy is like deck number 3 at the minute. In terms of popularity at flagships in Japan. You got Blue Purple Luffy miles in front. Then you got Green Zoro. Then you got Green Purple Luffy. This card is very good, don't get me wrong. Like, it's got a great stat line. Sometimes it draws a card. Usually every one but the first one will draw you a card. And it's got the nice sort of mechanic where if your opponents also ramp, you punish them by getting an extra draw. Which I actually kind of like. Punishing people for ramping is a mechanic that I think they could explore more in maybe other ways, but this is certainly a way. And the other effect is just 5-cost Kid, right? The only reason you play this heavily over 5-cost Kid in Green Purple is because you can't play Kid, because he's not Straw Hat. If you could play Kid, I imagine you'd see 4 of each, right? Just to get maximum re-ramp. And that deck really needs it, because like, when you remove their Sanji Pudding, if they play this and you Mulgun it, and then they don't have another one, the deck sort of falls apart quite a bit. It is very reliant on seeing this card. And it is very good, but it also does have clear sort of weaknesses, right? Holy Jones is obviously very good into them because they don't have a ton of counter. They're really reliant on Giant once they get low. And into removal decks, that can be tough as well. Removal can be tough. And also other aggro decks. I mean, Betty, like, munches Green Purple. The only way you win is if you can out-aggro the Betty, the 6-cost Luffy, which is quite funny. Black Purple, what is mediocre? I think Chris was talking about Blue Purple's results, which he's still doing well, right? But he's not winning events. Betty's winning everything in the West. It's a brick, yeah. It's also a brick. That deck has so many bricks, man. The amount of times I play Green Purple, look at my like 7-card hand, and it's 1,000 bricks, and there's like 1k counter. Man, it sucks. I'm gonna see if I can edit my webcam a bit. I'm looking very orange. I'm looking very orange. Where is it? It's in here. That's better. That's better. I'm not Trump anymore. No longer orange. What a time to be alive. Where did we move? Nami and Newgate were limited. Oh, is that what was limited? I wasn't playing back then, so I don't have the greatest knowledge on the old ban lists. Kick Blue Nami out. I'm not a fan of Blue Nami either. I'm not a Blue Nami enjoyer. We need a new mill deck. Do we though? It'd be cool if there was like an alt win con that wasn't as uninteractive as Blue Nami. Because like my problem with Blue Nami isn't the fact that it's an alt win con. Alt win cons are cool. It's just the fact that your opponent is just kind of sitting there doing nothing for the whole game. You just play guys and then do good numbers. It's very boring. Even if blue-purple isn't top in the meta, doesn't mean it isn't shaped around him. Yeah, Dragon, that is accurate. He's not winning, but that's why Betty's everywhere. That's why Betty's everywhere. The Young Girl Nami promo card is insane. I don't know if it's insane. It's just called Young Girl in English, isn't it? Is it untranslated as shoujo? Yeah. Okay, so the image says young girl. You have to search for shoujo. Okay. I think this card's good. I think it's a really nice buff for blue, yellow Nami, right? You don't have to play the stinky Blackbeard teach anymore. Because you get the one Don, which is what was really important. And being able to play on curve and have a Don. But you don't have to give up a card. So you actually gain advantage from your leader drawing cards, which is cool. And this is also obviously going to be fairly likely in Blue Nami. Although 2 Don for just draw 1, trash 1 is kind of weak. And you don't tend to want to attack because you give your opponent more resources. But if you can swing 6 with your leader doing the Don X1 for free, maybe Nami does start attacking. Who knows? Who knows? At least Green Purple's kind of cool and takes some skill to play. I think Blue Purple takes skill as well. I don't think it's fair to say Blue Purple doesn't take skill. I don't think so. There's certainly matchups where you just win. But there's matchups for most decks where you just win. Do we know when this is coming out? Not a clue. It's a promo, so probably in 2030. This card is basically just for UI Nami. I think you could play it in Blue Nami, though. That'll require testing by the Blue Nami cookers, which I'm not one. But yeah, I don't think this Sanji Pudding will ever get banned. Well, certainly not now. Hody is another card I've seen people talking about, because this meta right now does feel like it's purple decks, and Hody, and Betty, but yeah, that feels like a lot of the meta is if you're not playing purple Straw Hat, you need Hody so you can rest their Don and rest their Katakuri blocker. I don't see why this card would get banned, right? Especially where they've just printed the event version of him, and in OP12, most of the Zoro decks, some of them are still playing Hody, but most of them are just playing Dead Man's Game instead. And this is seen play in all sorts, right? Because it's searchable off the Perona, where Hody's like not searchable at all. Nobody's playing Kami outside of like Jinbei. But this being searchable off the Perona means any Slash leader can find this. Be that GY Law, obviously Green Zoro. There's a bunch of decks that can find this. And it's a way cleaner way to win the game. And the fact that it's 3k counter as well. This card's cracked, by the way. This card is cracked. If they were going to ban one of them, I think it would be DMG. But I don't think either of them are anywhere near needing a ban. I think they're both very good tools to have in the game to punish event-heavy or blocker-heavy decks that like to just go to 0 and sit with a million Dons. It's not particularly interesting gameplay playing against decks like that. It's good for Blue Nami, but not insane, not a 4 of. I can see that. I can see it being like a 2 of. I mean, Blue Nami sees their entire deck anyway. So if it's a matchup where you need it, you'll find it. Blue-purple doesn't need skill. I think every deck requires some skill. Obviously, some decks require less skill than others. Looking at Katakuri, yellow. And I would agree that green-purple is definitely a harder deck to play than blue-purple. But saying it needs no skill is not correct. I've seen some really trash blue-purple Luffy players. Trust me. You think the ban list will be revealed the week before Nats? Are you talking about US Nats? It could be before EU Nats, but it's going to be revealed in August. And US Nats is September, right? So it won't be before that. Katakuri blocker should be banned? No way. The Mihawk blocker is honestly stronger, in my opinion. Hody's the only way you can win against purple-black as a green Zoro leader. Yeah, Hody or DMG, both very strong. You think it's weak for green Zoro? I mean, you see it in most green Zoro decks, at least 2 copies. So I don't know if I agree with that, but they're both very good options to have. They should. We've gone over this already. I don't like erratas. I think erratas are garbage. If you're going to errata, just ban the card and reprint it. Don't have cards that do something different from what it says on the card. That's really bad. For new players specifically. Like, if I'd rock up to your new game and you lend me a deck and you say, oh, by the way, this card doesn't do this and this card doesn't do this and this card is only a one of and this card actually does something completely different, that's not good. That's not good for onboarding. Why is Dead Man's Game searchable off Perona? Yeah, she can search events. We'll pull her up. Yeah. Here she is. So you can search for a slash trait card or a green event. It's crazy. It's a crazy card. Purple Cata should have been leader locked. Maybe. I like it. I think it's a really fun card though. The ratio is 3 Holy, 1 Dead Man. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. I've seen a lot of different ratios. They're both really good cards, though. Don't get me wrong. They're both very, very good. Isn't Gum Gum Giant reprinted? It is reprinted, but they've banned cards that have been reprinted before. Looking at Gecko Moria. So I don't think that is a great reasoning for them to not ban. But I see what you mean. I do see what you mean, Kalati Man. Instead of errata, ban or make new card. I agree. I don't like erratas. I've seen more people say Kata Blocker should be banned. Purple Kata can play it for free. I don't see why they would ban the Kata, especially after they've just printed that new pudding, right? We'll pull up the new pudding. This one, right? This plays out like nothing if you ban the Katakuri. It's what it was designed to do. I don't think they would have printed this if they were going to ban Kata. That seems just really not good. Yeah, or a green event. Yo, Dragon King, thank you for the $5. Much appreciated. Every deck requires skill. Thank you. It's true. Every deck does require skill. I've seen enough really bad players on the sim to know that, right? Some of the games you get in just casual sim, it's crazy, man, how, like, poor decisions people make. Like, I think I'm kind of mid at the game, but when you watch it on the people, it's a nice confidence booster, I guess. You meant right before we get OP12. We're getting OP12 in August, so yeah, I could see that happening. Chrono Search is crazy. It absolutely is. They also, that's true. They also reprinted Ice Age, and it was in the Smoker starter deck. Like, what, a couple weeks before the bans? That was crazy. Prone is the best searcher in the game. I actually think it's Sengoku. But yeah, thank you for the $5, Dragon King. That's much appreciated. I think it's this guy, right? This Sengoku's crazy because you get the especially in Kuzan, obviously. Outside of Kuzan, no. But in Kuzan, you get a trash one, draw one, and you get to search the top 5 any 2 Navy cards. And he's a character, so you can attack with him for 2 Don, and he's got counter, right? This card is the best search in the game in my opinion. It's just 1 cost an army from STO1 with 1 more cost for 1 cycle. It is, but blue hasn't had an effect like that, Chris. Blue hasn't had a give a Don effect other than that and 1 white big card. The squad, but that sort of locks you playing a very heavy white bid engine. Do you think we'll unban any cards? We haven't done unbans yet. We will discuss unbans in a moment. Hello, Lucas. How are you doing? Stop throwing shade at me. I'm not throwing shade at the YouTube algorithm. I don't complain about that. Why would I complain about the website that lets me talk to all of you lovely people? Maybe they just restrict Gum Gum Giants 1 to 2 copies. That's what I think will happen. You think they should hit something in Lucci? I don't know about that one. It's fun hanging out. Oh, good luck at your locals, Ben. I hope you go 4-0, not 0-4. Do we think green will be main hit for bans? No, I think blue purple Luffy will definitely get a ban of some description, be it a leader, be it Linlin, be it Giant, or even Sanji. I think outside of that, any other bans or limits are superfluous and personally not necessary. Maybe they should implement pair bannings. What does pair banning mean? Is that like a complex ban? Faultic. Is that like if you're playing Pudding, you can't play Karasu or something like that? Is that what that means? Anyway, let's discuss the rest of these more rapidly, because I don't think there's as much to talk about. Buggy is trash card design. I do not like this card's design. It single-handedly just shuts down decks, which is not fun. Even more, like, some decks counter other decks just because of how the mechanics interact. This is designed to inherently just counter a bunch of stuff. Which, I mean, Buggy needs this card, right? Buggy needs this card to have a chance against aggro. But I wish they'd have printed like a more interesting version of this. Maybe just print it so that it removes a 4 cost or removes 2 4 costs even. And then doesn't play a 6 cost. That would be way more interesting than this. Like, this is trash design. You think that other than blue, purple, and Gundam Giant, Mesh is in a good state? I agree. In your region, pre-starter decks, the top 4 decks are blue, purple, Luffy, green, purple, Luffy, green, Zoro, and Lucci. Pre-starter decks? Lucci being top 4 is a little crazy. I would have expected... I don't know, what would I have expected? Maybe purple Luffy or red Zoro? Red Rayleigh? That Buggy completely kills all. It completely kills a bunch of decks. It really shuts down Red Zoro. It shuts down Betty. Although Betty, for some, it's kind of a testament to how crazy Betty can be. Is that you actually have a better time into this than some of the other aggro decks. Even though like your whole core engine is based around 4-ofs, but it still makes Betty have a really tough time. Yeah, it kills Zoro. It kills Arlong. It would be really good with Dofi if people were still playing Dofi. Yeah, I don't like the design of this card. I don't think they'll ban it. If they were going to ban it, I'd say they wouldn't have printed it in the starter deck, but maybe that doesn't mean anything. I don't know. I don't think they will. I don't think they will. Buggy's not dominant enough. Even though I agree this card design is crap. This is really crap. Purple Luffy's non-existent. Fair enough. It's good to know. Which region, which country are you in, Frosty? Are you in Japan, or are you in, like, Indonesia or Malaysia or something like that? It'll be less obnoxious if it was more removable. I agree, and the reason it's not removable is right next to him, right? This card is crazy. This card is nuts. It's exactly what Buggy needed, because Buggy hard lost to removal. And he hard lost to, like, not drawing enough cards, because you have to trash so many. So I think this card is fine. But this in conjunction with this is really obnoxious for decks that are shut down by this. But I don't think either of these will get a ban, purely because Buggy's not going to do that well. Even though I think the card design is kind of bonkers on both of these. That's how it should work for specific cards. Complex bans are another thing. I know some games that have done it. I've played, I used to play Pokemon singles on Smogon, and they've done complex bans on there in the past. It can work. I think it's easier for an online game, but in physical, it's very unintuitive for new players. So it's not great. Purple Straw Hat Brew is 40% of all the meta. I think it's more than that, even if you just include this guy. Aggro decks earned it? Damn, you're a hater for real. You're playing in set 1 and 2, even the up to erratas. Yeah, I don't like things that are not on the card, but I think in this case specifically, they're not going to ban it. I think a limit is warranted. You're in Malaysia. Oh, okay. Crockwalk's fine. It's a really good card. Everything on it is great. I don't think it needs a ban, just because Buggy's not doing well. But if we do get more Buggy buffs in the future, I could see this card being a problem. Just for interactability. Because like a bunch of your stuff can't attack. You can't remove their dudes. There's very limited ways you can actually interact with Buggy. Which Green Zoro is brilliant for, because everything gets rested and swung into. And I imagine that is why Buggy's not doing terribly well in the East. He's Green Zoro. But I might be wrong on that. I'm not sure. You could complex ban these, but yeah, complex bans I don't think they'll do. I just don't think it's very likely. They want to keep it nice and simple, it seems. Right, we've got 3 more cards to talk about. We've already talked about these guys. Luna, I think someone mentioned this as a bit of a troll pick as well. There's no way. This trigger's obnoxious, though. I've lost so many games to Luna Trigger, man. I hate this shit. Let's get out of here. Red Rock, I think, is a card that if it wasn't rotating, potentially they would have looked at. And I don't think they will reprint this, and I don't think they'll ever print a card like this that just gets rid of everything. I think the effect is very, very good. And you can argue blue needs it at the minute. That's a different argument. But, like, being able to get rid of anything. And it bottom decks. Like, it doesn't even KO, so they can't resummon it. If they've got a way to do that. That gets around cards that can't be KO'd. Like, I guess, like a Borsalino. Or anything in the Roji deck. This effect is crazy. It's not going to be banned. There's absolutely zero chance it gets banned. But I don't think they'll ever print a card like this again. I think this is one of a kind. And I think that's why they banned Rhaego is because they didn't want, and L created issues with that card. But I don't think they want every color to have access to this kind of just, yeah, it's gone. It's gone. Your turn. It's just not great. Buggy embracing the clown gimmick. He is a clown. Look at this eyes. It's something. It's certainly something. You mean the red Nami for STO1? I'm lost. Sorry. Gravity Blade is a good shout out, but it got reprinted. That card's very good. That card is very good. Side note, I really hope this gets an alt art in the set. Because you know me, I'm a big Navy enjoyer. And alt art Grav Blade, man, I'll go hard. He shows such a cool character. And alt art of him just doing, I don't know, doing something with this. That'd be sick. Card's crazy though. Card is crazy. But it is bad. It is fair, I think. Because there's a lot of 7 cost and higher characters. And obviously it's dead into them. The trigger had no business hitting a 5 though. That's crazy. What else are we? You hate Grav Blades? It's fair. You think Road Rock should have been a 7 cost? I think it's a product of its time. There's a lot of cards from the first handful of sets that are just kind of very good. I mean, Rad Beam's a classic example. It's a 4K counter with basically no set downside. Way before there was any business being a 4K counter for 1 Don. Like, you print that now, who cares? But back then, that card was crazy. Card was crazy. And I think this is one that's just stood the test of time. I don't think either of these events will get banned, though. Can I do a green-black e-show guide? No, probably not. I'll be real with you, the YouTube algorithm. I'm sorry, I'm not playing green-black e-show. That deck's not... Unless he gets new support. If he gets new support, we'll definitely revisit him. Give you a guide. What do you think are the main reasons for a card to be banned? In the past, they said the main reason for the card to be banned was that the formats must adapt. For me, there's 2 reasons. Either the card is broken and is breaking the meta, or if the card is just incredibly unfun. Or even if it's not like broken in terms of a meta representation, being broken in terms of the card effect. And I think Reject is a perfect example of this. This effect just shouldn't exist. 4 Don to deal a damage is just ridiculous. And this wasn't even seeing that much success. Like, it wasn't in the best decks. But it's just a ridiculous card. It's not fun to play against. I had a game where, I forget the exact situation, but I was playing against some yellow deck. I think it was Kata. Yeah, it was Kata. And I left him at 3 life to play around Amaru. And he went Flamp, Reject, Amaru. Because he took 1 life with the Flamp, took the 2nd life with Reject, and then he was at 1 to rest my blocker with Amaru. He dealt a damage, rested my blocker, and I was just like, what am I supposed to do into that? And this was way back in, like, set 6. Like, that was awful to play into. It was just so unfun. So that's, I think a card being that unfun is a valid reason to ban, which is why you could point at the buggy. But I just don't think they will. I wouldn't be upset, but I don't think they will. Rip Rhaego, no. I played an L back then as well, but no, not Rip Rhaego. You hope they don't bring Green Kid into... Yeah, they won't reprint Kid. I think Mihawk is the new replacement, in air quotes, for Green Kid. Yeah, this guy. I mean, he's 8/8. He's a crazy card, but it doesn't just turn your leader into an 8k wall. It's just very good. They can't hit 8 cost blocker Mihawk. Would they hit Paradise Waterfall? I don't think green is... I think maybe. Maybe. This card's very good. I think they'll probably just wait for it to rotate, though. I don't think green is, like, warping the meta. It's just very, very good, that combo. But I think it's unlikely they'd hit them. That may be a reason for players wanting a ban on certain cards. Oniaka Bandai. You remember the last round of bans, only 1 or 2 places called the bans. Yeah, I mean, the bans last time were very out of left field. I mean, but in that respect, I don't think anyone was calling for a Rhaego ban, right? Very, very few people, at least. I certainly wasn't. But I wasn't upset to see it. I didn't think they would, but I wasn't upset to see it go. Reprint Rhaego says all leaders except Nell can do this. Bring back Saka. Reject Kara 5 cost and... Yeah, it was the dealer damage. It was the dealer damage. Because they printed other 4-Don events that Kara 5. And you've got good ones, right? You've got a Red Hawk. That's a long name. Yeah, you got Red Hawk, 4-Dom, Popper 5, and it's got another really good effect. And you've also got Damned Punk that carries a 5 and has a draw trigger. It really was the second effect, 100%. The last card, full of lead. Blackbeard, man. Blackbeard, man. I know some people really like Black... Oh, type in the parts. I know some people really like Blackbeard. I hate this leader. This leader is miserable to play into. Tell me if you think I'm way out of whack, but... It just turns all your cards into vanillas. It's just not fun. Like, it's not broken. It's clearly not broken. It's not winning tournaments that much. But it's just not fun. It's just not fun. And think back in, like, set 9. And even arguably in set 10. There was, like, interesting dynamics where you had to race them. Because they were going to run out of cards eventually. But if they got, like, safely to the point where they were dropping the Blackbeards and chaining them, you were kind of cooked. So you had to sort of aggro them down really fast, and you could build your deck in ways to do that. But with the amount of, like, extra card draw they have now, like this guy drawing a card, this guy effectively drawing you a card because it just summons this every time, and it blocks a hit, and the fact they gave it searchable Jack that you cannot get rid of, so if you get rid of it, they just get it back, or they get a 10 teach, or they get a 6 Zan. There's too many cards in this deck that just draw extra cards. So his leader, it feels like it doesn't even have that much of a downside anymore, having to trash a card. Whereas back in set 9, it really did feel quite debilitating to have to constantly trash cards. But now it's just, like, not the case anymore. It's kind of crazy. I think this leader's fine to exist, but they need to stop supporting it. They need to stop printing so much support for this, because it's getting pretty obnoxious. I don't know. As a Reiju player, playing against Blackbeard is the most unfun experience. So many decks. Like, Reiju is absolutely a very good example of this. People just want to play with their cards. And you just print a leader that says, no, you can't play with your cards. They can be vanillas. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of it. If you wanted to play Uno, you could play Uno. Leader's unfun. It definitely takes skill. You're absolutely right. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking the skill of anyone who plays Blackbeard. It's a hard deck. It's just not a fun deck to versus. It's just not fun. You don't think Buggy deserves any bans? I agree. I agree it doesn't deserve any bans. I wouldn't be upset to see this card banned. I think it's really lame. But, and quite bad design, honestly. But I agree. I don't think Buggy deserves any bans. You main Blackbeard? You're the villain. You have all the current alt arts. The alts look sick, man. The Kuzan especially. The alt of this guy. Man, that card looks insane. I've got one for my Navy collection. Such a good alt art. Maybe we can add sideboarding. I think they'll probably give it a lot more time because there's some interesting counters in this game. That I don't know how it would impact, to be fair. I've not really played many games with sideboarding. Blackbeard is Shoe Buggy and Spirit. Kinda is. Ban 1, Blackbeard or Blue Nami? Blackbeard. Nobody's playing Blue Nami. I can avoid Blue Nami. There's nobody playing it. But yeah, if I had to ban one, definitely Blackbeard. Definitely Blackbeard. There are cards in every color that add Rested Dawn to guys. So 2-cost Nami promo. Yeah, it is effectively very similar to the old Nami. Or cards like that, yeah. But it's just nice for blue-yellow because the only other one that blue has is the 2-cost Teach. And the 2-cost Teach forces you to lose a card. So it is nice. Crockhawk is overtuned. Crockhawk is very, very good. It is very, very good. Do you think the Kuzan has good art? Not the regular one, the alt art. I'll pull it up. He's in set 10. Black. Here he is. This one. Yeah, this looks insane, man. He's just kind of there looming. He's in the background. We've got the big icy hand. This is sick. Yeah, the half art's not that great, but man, this is one of my favorite alt arts. You think RP Law? Yeah, RP Law would still be insane. Absolutely. That leader was broken. Yeah, it was expensive. It was. I picked mine up. What did I pay? I think I paid just under £20. I can't remember. I got it off one of the homies. He had one. I can't remember exactly what I paid. But yeah, this was like 30, 40 pounds, I think, on release, which was crazy. You're disappointed in the regular version? Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's not that great. Amazing artwork. Yeah, this is nuts, man. This is crazy. Alright, that's enough. Kuzan love. You unboxed 2 of the alt art Kuzans in back-to-back boxes. Man, that's some great pulls. What do I get from set 10? I don't think I got anything too crazy from set 10. I can't remember. It can't have been that good if I can't remember. Oh, I think I got the pudding SP. I got SP, but it was about the worst one. Anyway, let's clear this up. That's the thing. My TLDR. I think what I would personally hit, I would ban Linlin, and I would potentially restrict Giant 2. What do we think they'll hit after the last set of bans? Literally, who knows? Very few people called Jinbei correct. Rhaego was completely out of left field. And what was the other one? It was Moria and Ice Age. I think a lot of people thought they might hit one or the other. I don't think many people thought they'd hit both. Hitting both was crazy. Yeah, I don't know what they'll ban. It could just be the leader. It could be just Linden. My gut says Linden's the most likely, though. Let's move on to unbans. Move on to unbans. My beloved. Can we add 2 leaders to a deck on the Kadi Kaizoku deck builder? No, we can't. We'll have to... That's the wrong one anyway. We'll have to talk about lore separately. What else is banned? Reject. Not reject. Reject. What's the Nami card? What's the Nami card that's banned? Is Kabaji? Kabaji. Yeah, this one. Moria. This guy's never getting unbanned. Ice Age. Eruption. Moby Dick. Jinbei. Kingdom Come. Is there anything else that's banned? Is there anything else that's banned? How do we make the distinction between this card is annoying versus this card should be banned? I think the only reason you ban a card for things other than like meta relevance is when it's just you get a critical mass of impossible cards to play around. Like Reject. You couldn't play around like Amaru, Reject, and all the other yellow options they had. Like Enel just went forever, man. And Reject was awful. Like this effect is just not balanced, even though it wasn't breaking the meta. But I agree, it is a difficult line to walk. A lot of people want cards they find annoying banned. For me, Blue Nami, very annoying to play into, should not be banned, definitely not. Black Teach, again, very annoying, shouldn't be banned. And there's a few other cards like that. Ennie's Lobby, that is good shout. Law, yeah, we can't put Law and Saka in the same deck. That's a limit of the Kadi Kaizoku deck builder, unfortunately. As far as I'm aware, anyway. You get fun from your opponent's negative fun? Damn, you're the villain, Chris. Even when Blue Doofy's on prime time, that deck still can't win stuff. Yeah, Jim... We'll talk about Jinbei first. Let's talk about Jinbei first. So, I don't think this is very likely to get unbanned, but I don't think it's anything to do with the power level. I think it's purely because they've printed the new version of it, right? Where is he? Where's the new version? Is he? Oh, here he is. So they've sort of printed a replacement for this and Moria, which makes me feel like the card's never getting unbanned. Unfortunately, because I agree with you, it could probably come back pretty reasonably. And I mean, I know there's very little overlap between the effects, but they're both 4/5 Jinbeis. They've even got the same types. I think it's very clear this was created as a replacement for the banned one. I mean, this card was crazy back in the day. Back when Dofi was dominating. This card was nuts. Going like 3 Don Jinbei Weevil. It's like, ugh, great. Thanks for that. It did really limit what you could play quite a lot. You just gutted 4Ks. What's the delay on YouTube? I think the delay is very short. I put it on very low. If you've got a long delay, Chris, check you're actually up to... Check you're live. You might just be behind. I'm not sure. Because everyone... I don't... Is the delay really long for anyone else? It should be pretty short, I think. The new one is not an SR. It's true. It's true. I reply to you very fast, do I? Yeah, I agree. I think this could come back. I just really don't think they will because of the existence of this card. Yeah, sure. Good, good, good. Yeah, I think it must be on your end, Chris. Make sure you're actually watching live and you're not just like 3 minutes behind because of, I don't know, your lag or something. Hey, Caloverus, all going good? Yourself? The delay on reply to you fast was about 10 seconds. 10 seconds is not too bad. That's a little longer than I'd like, but that's not too bad. That's not too bad. I don't know what the minimums are, really. I'm not sure. But yeah, Jinbei, I don't think will come back, but I think it probably should, if you're just talking about from a balance perspective. And even from fun perspective. Kabaji, I'm not a Blue Nami expert, but any buff to Blue Nami scares me. Any Blue Nami buff does scare me quite a little bit. Yeah, that's another good point, Nino. With the Jinbei, there's so many 6 and 7k leaders right now. So this will be a good bit weaker. Yeah, I don't think Kabaji will ever come back. I think they're just scared for Nami to be really good. Because if Nami was the best deck in the game would be either warp to just be aggro, or it would be really, really boring. Like, you don't want Nami to be unbeatable because it's completely uninteractable. Nobody minds Nami being good, but you just don't want it to be tier 1. So I don't think they would unban this. Although I have no idea whether or not it's balanced at this point. Your Blue Nami friend says Kabaji shouldn't be unbanned. Well, they probably have a better idea of how balanced this card is than I do, so we'll defer to your friend on that one. Moria is a card that is never coming back. This card was way too overtuned. I'm surprised he lasted as long as he did. And the fact that he got banned when he did was a bit of a weird one, right? Because the card had sort of almost fell off a little bit in Japan's format. You weren't seeing as much of this guy. I thought this guy would get banned like 2 or 3 sets earlier. Not gonna lie, but he did eventually get banned. And they've reprinted him in a much more balanced form. And I really like this one. I like this one a lot more than the Jinbei. They leader locked it to Thriller Bark, which is what I think lots and lots of people have been saying for a long ass time. The card should have been leader locked. And it also just works incredibly well with especially the Moria leader. The fact that like you get the Don on your leader to pay for his cost means on 8. I mean, it's arguably even better than this because you can summon any 4 cost with this. And then you can summon a Thriller Bark 4 cost with this on 8 Don. So you get 2 4s and a 6-7. Obviously you don't get an 8-9, which I mean, the stat line was another thing. This guy could have easily been an 8-8 and been like still incredible. But I really like the design on this one. What do you guys think about the design on this one? The ban announcement happening a short time. You think it'll be a short list? Yeah, we'll see. You never know with Bandai. They threw us a curveball last time. It would also be good in Buggy. What, the Jinbei? What are you getting in Buggy? Buggy needs 5 costs. Never unban Moria. I agree. Have they unbanned cards? Yeah, they unbanned a bunch of like red cards back in sort of set 3, 4, 5 period. Red was just way overtuned as a color back then, from what I understand. So they banned like Nami Searcher, Rad Beam. I think Newgate was banned as well. A bunch of stuff was banned from Red. And yeah, all of it slowly got unbanned over time. Except for Moby. You think he could come back? Oh, he's so efficient, man. He's so efficient. He's so efficient, man. I think the new one's much better design. He was a little bit too strong, I think. Especially in black yellow. Like that. This in black yellow was awful to play against. Kabaji. Oh, Kabaji. Yeah, it's true. You can play the other Moji, right? You're right, you're right. Just draw 2, trash 1. Yeah, you're cooking, eh? You guys are cooking. Gambling hard on Great Eruption getting unbanned. I don't think so. We'll talk about the other black cards now. We'll move on from Moria. I don't think he's getting unbanned. Especially with this having just been reprinted. Or printed. Ice Age and Eruption. It's crazy that they're both banned now, right? There's so few black reduction events. Right, you've got we can sort by, we have the technology, look at this. Type event. You've got what you this one, which gives -2 to 2 things. You've got the patchwork, which gives -3 and then doesn't really get its second effect very often. You've got Tempest Kick, which is obviously not locked to Lucci, but it's quite difficult to use in other decks. And the other one you see people playing is Gum Gum Bell. I like this one. This one's very funny. 2 Don, take a life, -7. That's a banger. I'm a big fan of this one. All the other ones are terrible. Like you're only really playing this, the Patchwork, Tempest Kick, and Soap Sheep. And realistically, you're really just mostly playing Tempest Kick in Lucci. Could these get unbanned? Probably not. Probably not. Prime Lucci did make the meta pretty unbalanced, right? Prime Lucci he just removed everything, man. And I guess we can bring Ennie's lobby into this conversation as well. This card was a problem. This one's never coming back. This card was awful. Like your opponent playing Lucci going second and just playing this on 2, it was just like, ugh, all my stuff is gone for the whole game. And the first life trigger on this card, man. I've tilted so many people playing Lucci and getting this first life trigger. It was like, you give them the false hope of passing on 2. Then they swing and you're like, ooh, there's an Ennie's lobby for you. What a treat. You think the... Sure. I think the lag is at your end, Chris. I'm not sure what's going on. Other people are saying it's about 10 seconds, the delay. Jinbei could cheat the 4-cost buggy starter deck out. Is he a warlord? Is the 4-cost buggy a warlord? He's not a warlord. Jinbei only plays warlords, right? Oh, he's here. What am I talking about? Yeah, he only plays warlords. He couldn't cheat the buggy out. Bring Gecko. BY Luffy's coming back anyway, right? That 5-cost ace. That new 5-cost ace is really good. Oh, you have to type in Portgas, don't you, on this? Yeah, this guy. You can just summon back your babies, man. This is bringing BY Luffy back, as well as probably the other 2 who get significant buffs from this. Tempest Kick should be banned. Oh, I don't know about that one. But yeah, back to these events. I don't think either of them are very likely to be unbanned. I mean, looking at the new, like, Black Leader design, it doesn't seem like they want this sort of remove everything game style to not necessarily not exist, but be as dominant as it has been in the past. And I think that is healthy, right? I mean, the fact that they had to print anti-removal effects for just everything sort of goes to show how broken black removal was. And you look at like Koala, she's not a removal deck. She's based around increasing her own cost to get out of ranges and scamming cards. I mean, you look at Kobe. Kobe's a removal deck, but he's like a battling for board removal deck, which is really cool in its own way. I don't think either of these would come back. Would I be upset if they did, though? Probably not. If you unbanned one, I think Great Eruption's probably more balanced than Ice Age. -5 was crazy. -5 was crazy, especially with how many big guys there are in the format now. Hawk Tour Patchwork, maybe. Me Hawk Tour. They can unban the black events since there's a lot of anti-removal. They can, but hey, what's the old saying? Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Bring back the black events and ban Lucci. I don't know about that one. If the stage didn't have the trigger, it'd be more balanced. Yeah, but it would still be insane. Stages have a problem in this game because there is no good ways to interact with them. You've got what? There's the Wiper, the bottom deck's a 1-cost stage, and there's a few other like Shandy and Warrior guys that do that. And then you've got Tempest Kick Sky Slicer. This one that KOs a 3-cost stage. I think there's another card that gets rid of a stage other than the Shandy and Warriors and this, but they're all terrible. Oh, there's a Red Rev Army card. Red type events. I think it costs 2. Red color events. This one, yeah, this activate main event pops a 1-cost stage, but they're all terrible. So like until they print good ways to remove stages, you've got to be really careful with stages, and this one just gets too much value, in my opinion. It's a free -2 every turn. Hey Jason, thank you for watching the videos. I'm glad you like them. Do I think Jinbei gets unbanned? I think he could, but I don't think he will, because of the new Jinbei that they printed in PRB2. I think this and the Moria sort of discount an unban of these guys, which is a shame. Where am I? Every time Ice Age and Great Eruption, excuse me, not getting unbanned, you pick up more playsets. I've got my alt arts, man. I play the little Lucci. Still got my Ice Age alt arts. Might as well keep them at this point, right? Isn't there a card that removes a stage? Yeah, we've just went over a couple of them. You got like the Tempest Kick Sky Slicer, which is about the best one, but it still sucks, right? Yeah, this one. The card sucks, though. The card sucks. Only Calgara decks. Yeah, only Calgara decks efficiently remove stage, and they only remove 1 costs. So even if you still had in his lobby and you've got all the wipers, you still can't get rid of it. The unban event ban Lucci. What Lucci players? I don't see many anymore, at least. Ice Age wouldn't be worth much. No, they was in the Smoker deck. It's not about the value, it's about how broken it is. More ways to remove stages. I agree with more stages to remove, more ways to remove stages. Yeah, this. Don't worry about the name of this card. Sky Slicer isn't terrible if you run heavy removal. Maybe. We can agree to disagree, Logan. I'm afraid. I think this card is really bad. I do think this card's bad. Anyway, Ennie's Lobby never coming back. Moria never coming back. These probably could, but I don't think they will. Sakazuki, I think he can come back. I do think he can come back. With how like crazy some of the new leaders are getting, having like massive increased costs in the black Rev Army stuff. Green obviously has a chi that's anti-removal. Buggy just says no to all removal. And the fact that this guy only has 5k power, you can't attack until the 6k and 7k leaders, and he's got 4 life, so he's pretty flimsy. Like, this guy relied on removing everything, and with so many decks having anti-removal stuff now, he'd have inherently bad matchups into things like Buggy, right? Because of the Crockhawk. And even into like Koala or the new Sabo, with all their 4 costs just being 8 costs, it's so tough to get that down. Obviously, blue-black is an insane combo, but I think you could probably bring this guy back. I really do think you could. If you bring Saka back, we should bring Law back. Law's a different conversation. We'll come on to Law. 1 cost stage that says on play, draw 1, activate main, bottom deck, any stage, any color. Honestly, that would be a way to do it. That would be a way to do it. Kuzan support doesn't help Sakazuki. No, it all trashes cards. Like, he already is going to struggle a little bit for cards because you have 4 life. So, yeah, the Kuzan support doesn't help him at all. Other than maybe the Sengoku. The Sengoku could be very good. The 3 cost. Saka's more balanced than RP Law. I agree with that. Blue-black certainly is the best combo. Blue-black definitely, inherently has so many strengths because you just get around all the can't be KO'd or on KO effects. It's nuts. Like that Marco, right, that we were talking about earlier, the 4/6 blue Marco. On KO, he draws 2. Well, Saka just bottom deck, so... Man, I just want to play Handblaze. I want to play this card. Let me pull up the alt art. It's one of my favourite alt arts in the game. I love the Houndblaze alt art. What says it? Set 5? Yeah, look at this. Man. This alt art's sick, man. And by the time it came out, you couldn't even play Sakazuki. So sad. So sad, man. This alt art's so good. Anyway, moving back. I think I would need to test it, and I'm sure Bandai do internal testing with things like this, whether they can bring these cards back. Would they want to is another story. I feel like they probably don't, just because of how dominant he was back in the day, and a lot of people really don't have good memories of this leader. This was sort of, the ban of this was around when I started, so I don't have that much memory of him being insane, but he felt very fun. I don't know. Be dope if they brought him back. I'd be up for it, but we would obviously need to test him. They did a good job of keeping Usopp balanced. Absolutely. Usopp was really good for like one set. he fell off a little bit, it was a shame. Do you think RP Law is better than Green Purple or Blue Purple Luffy? Yeah, that leader was just broken good. Mainly because of Maria. Like, until Maria, that deck was just very good. Maria just broke it. And it ruined one of the fun parts of the deck for me as well. Like, one of the fun parts of playing RP Law was like having to get your head around, okay, so if I use my leader effect this turn, I'm going to have too few dons to do this really cool play I want to do next turn. Or if my opponent plays this, but I only have this many dons, well, I can't remove it. But when they printed Black Maria and you were just always at like 8, 9, 10 don, the skill was gone. The skill was gone and the don game was gone. So it made the deck a lot less interesting, honestly. And did take a lot of the skill out of it as well. And back then I was trash at the game. So I'm not saying here I was outskilling people with RP Law, but yeah, it did remove a lot of the skill, which was a real shame. You missed the rest of the leaders from OP13. Which is my favorite and which one's the best? I think my favorite is probably Red Black Sabo. I really like the design of that. I always really liked RP Kid. He's just kind of bad. I like leaders with downsides. I think it's interesting. Which is the best? It's going to depend on support, of course. I think right now, probably Red Blue Ace. Seems very, very good. Roger, though, if he gets good, like a couple really good cards, Roger could be insane. I think all of them have promise, though. Like the Luffy as well. We didn't talk about the Luffy. But the Luffy, man, he could be nuts too. I'm really excited for the Luffy. The amount of defense you get in that, like, who needs Gum Gum Jump? You can just leave 5 Don up and have 10k counter on board. RP Law was a ticking time bomb. Yeah, he was. Green Purple was a good replacement for Law. Yeah, I agree. I should pull up Law while we're talking about him. Let's talk about Law. Saka, final thoughts. I think he could be unbanned. I don't think they will. But I would be interested to try playing with this guy again. Maybe we should do a video on that, playing some games with Saka. I know Kaizoku did one of those last time, right? For one of the bans. Where's Law? Not this one. Oh, this is an abomination, by the way. Why do they do this? Like, the Sakazuki one was bad enough. This is the worst leader in the game. This is horrible. Anyway, yeah, this Law. So if you weren't around back then, this Law, activate main dot -3. Place one of your opponent's 3k power or less characters at the bottom of their deck. And then you get to play a 4 cost for free. Just bonkers. And you had some really interesting cards in this. You had like the Shachi and Penguin was a really cool guy. This card doesn't do anything anymore. It's like if you played this out with your leader effect and you went down to 2 Don. Sorry, if you went down to 3 Don, you got 2 back. It was crazy. This card was crazy. One of the best cards in the deck for sure. And this deck made really good use of like Reiju, because you were always really low on Dons, so it was just a draw 2. You also had this was the card that made Gordon like $50. Not that Gordon, this Gordon. And a bit of lore here. Back when RP Law was big in America, this card was like $50 at one point. In the UK, you could get these for about £12 because they were still giving them out at the official Bandai stores. So I bought a bunch of these and then shipped them all over to America. I was selling like $10 under TCG player price for the Americans, including all your fees and shipping. So they were getting a great price, and I was doubling my money. That was a crazy time. There's a little bit of lore there for you. But yeah, Gordon just bringing down a 6k, which 6k at the time was the stat line to be. Bringing that 6 down to 3 for 1 Don and then just bottoming it with your Laws of Leader effect was crazy. Yeah, that's another one, Dom. That's a good point. Kid and Killer was insane. Bringing this in a 7k attack for no cost. It was mad, man. Law was a mad leader. You could do so much. And removal on a leader effect, there's not many leaders that do things like that. You got what, like Caesar, Black Azuki. Is that about it? I think that's about it. Blue Crocodile. But yeah, like, this was the first really good one with removal in baked. So that's why he was crazy. And he could come back now, but he would still be insane. It would probably still be the best deck in the game because of Maria just making you whiz at 10. You'd have to play different power reduction to deal with like Blue Purple Luffy. But you could play like Fire Fist. You could play the Ein they printed. She was kind of funny. Yeah. How do I get her to appear? Costs 7. There it is. Yep, you just set a character's power to 0. And then you just bottom it immediately. That was crazy. Kyros, that's a good point. Hey, good point. Kyros also has removal. But yeah, Law's never coming back. Law's never coming back. Unless the meta, like, super duper power creeps. But that would be crazy. Reject. We talked all about Reject earlier. I don't think this one's coming back. This effect's just crazy. This effect is bonkers, man. You think Law would rush UP down? That's probably quite likely, Jay. And you bottom deck all their like mid-ground plays like Bonclay. Super free as well. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, Reject's never coming back. This effect is not... It's just not congruent with a healthy game. Kingdom Come, they specifically banned because of Enel. Enel just having access to this meant that he could immediately kill all locals characters. Guys like Nami and Gadatsu. And you could immediately kill all high-cost characters with this. So you just removed everything. And never died. If your opponent didn't get to establish bodies against an L, well, like, what are you going to do? You're going to hit me once? Okay, I'll take and heal. So I don't see this one coming back as long as an L's in the format. If they banned an L, I mean, you could bring this card back. It wasn't that good in other decks. You saw it sometimes in black-yellow. But, yeah, I don't think this one's coming back either. Moby Dick, I don't know much about. Like I say, I was not planning while this card was legal. I've never used this card. I've never played with this card. I've never played against this card. What do you guys think about Moby Dick? What are the thoughts on Moby Dick? Especially if you were someone who was playing back then. How good do you think this will be, like, now? Kingdom Come was banned because of BY? I think it was more banned because of Enel. I can't remember what their reasoning was. They posted reasoning. Maybe it was because of BY. I can't really exactly remember what they put on their post. I just remember them saying it was like too unfair. The downside didn't come up, which for both those leaders it wouldn't. Easy unban on Moby, you think? Enel was mid, but it was incredibly unfun to play against. Yeah, one cost search at Ezo becomes a swingable body for $1. It truly does. That's crazy. Dick was incredible back in the day. You think the Whitebeard package is too slow to make the most of it nowadays? Another good point. That's... Yeah, the new ace, actually. Hold up. So, like, leader. I hate this. Yeah, this guy with Moby might actually be too good. This guy would be crazy with Moby, right? It's only your turn, so it is. You do get no defensive value. That's true. That's true. What with this? But it rotates in April anyway. It does rotate in April. They might not unban it just because there's not much lead. Oh, you're right. You're right. It doesn't buff the Ace leader. You're right. It only buffs Newgate and Whitebeard Pirates cards. You're right. It just shows I wasn't playing with this card. Yeah, it is locked in Newgate. Sorry about that. Like I say, I'm a card game player. We don't read the cards, we just play them. Yeah, I've got very little experience with this card. I don't know if this will be balanced or not. This is one I'd need to test with to make a judgment. Will they unban it though? Probably not. I think this guy's been banned for so long. And Newgate's not been dominant for most of the time it's been banned at this point. So I just don't see them bother. It's not locked to Newgate, but it only buffs the Newgate leader. It doesn't buff your Ace leader. You're a card game player, not a card game reader. Truest. Yeah. That's right, Chris. Moby could probably come back. I don't know. It'll be an interesting one to see. The power's crazy though, right? The power is crazy. 2k as well. I imagine if this said 1k, this would probably be still legal. At this point, at least. 2k is crazy, though. 2 Don Guy, and then just forever. All your guys get 1 extra power. And you're going to be at 1 pretty soon with this guy, right? You can pretty happily sit at 1. I don't know, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. I should probably give this card a test at some point. Your characters will still get it. Yeah, they would. They would indeed. Like we've got so many new Whitebeard characters as well now, right? I mean, no, not Juzu. Imagine cards like Jozu swinging for 9. Man, that's crazy. 6 Don, remove a 6, swing for 9 seems good to me. Yeah, I wish there was removal for stages, but you'd have to do it like the events that have 3k counter. Print it as like an extra effect on a card. Because nobody's playing a card just to remove a stage. Unless there was a stage that dominant. They should do more leader locking. Yeah, leader locking's cool. If they think a card's really good, leader locking's cool. I do like when cards aren't leader locked though. Because it leads to more brewing. I mean, this card's a really good example of that, right? Jozu you see play in like so many different blue decks. If it was locked to Whitebeard, or well, obviously Whitebeard Pirate, sorry, so you could play it in like Marco, it would be a lot worse. It'd be a little disappointing. I mean, you saw this in like Dofi, you see this in Blue Yellow Nami, sometimes. You see it in all sorts of deck. Boa as well. This is a cool card. I like this one. Odin, that's good shout. Odin is Whitebeard. Odin Jozu. Not that one. Yeah, he is Whitebeard. So yeah, this would be an 8k swinging twice. That might be too good. That might be too good. That might be too good. And this guy's unremovable as well. This card seems really fun. I'm really looking forward to playing some games with this. How do you just get to pick one of your guys up? Man, I mean, I've got bad memories of the 4-cost lore. The fact that Dofi got to reuse all their 1-costs was crazy. And the fact that this is going to be able to do the same thing effectively is nuts as well. You say unban all block 1 cards? I don't know about that. If you unban Ice Age and Eruption and Lobby, like Lucci's going to be unbeatable with all those cards. That'd go crazy. PRB2 Marco. Yeah, we talked about Ace earlier. That Marco, I agree, is going to be insane. Draw 3, right? Draw 3 goes crazy. Block, draw 3. What a time to be alive. It's draw 3 because of the Ace effect, right? Because he's a 6,000 power character. He draws 2 off his own effect. And then you draw 1. Every time, man. This gets me every time. Yeah, then you draw 1 from your Don X1 effect. As long as you have Don X1 on you, I suppose. The Marco art looks good. It does. The art game in general, man. They're killing it with the art. The art in this game. Like, I come from Pokemon, originally. And Pokemon right now has some of the best art it's ever had. But One Piece is right up there. I think, for me, One Piece is better, but maybe that's just because I'm more invested in this game right now. Yeah, this card is... You're dead right, Chris. This is a very generically good card. You can play this in Red Blue Marco, in Blue Nami. I mean, literally any blue deck can very well consider playing this. It's a 4/6, and even if you don't use it as a blocker, it's a 4/6 that you can swing with. And if your opponent ever just like attacks and clears it, you draw 2. We see the 3-cost Sanji, right? The 3-cost Sanji that gets plus 3k in your turn, and then draws a card. That card's crazy because it draws 1 when it dies. This gets double the value, man. This card's got to be nuts. This card's got to be nuts. Bring back Dofi, bring back Jinbei. I wouldn't hate seeing a Jinbei unban. I think they very well could. We talked about him earlier. I think it'd be perfectly fine to unban him. I just don't think they will. Bandai's killing it with the art. I've seen the new Gundam. Yeah, I played a Gundam beta event back when that was a few months back now. That was fun. I got a alt-art Show of Resolve, which is like Pilaf. I sold that for quite a lot of money. I was very pleased to get rid of that. The game was quite good. I think it's very similar to One Piece. There's obviously significant differences, but it does feel very One Piece-esque at least. Cool game though, and the art is brilliant. It's like Kiku value. It is. Draw 2 is nuts, man. What deck does PRB02 Boa go in? Set. We'll just put her up so that everyone can reference it. Right now, the fact that you have to have this many trigger cards I think it would definitely go in the new Bonnie leader. But right now, probably only Robin, because you have to have like a critical mass of triggers. Maybe like Vegapunk. It could be pretty reasonable in Vegapunk, because he plays shed loads of triggers anyway. But, yeah. The blocker Marco is PRBO2, yeah. None of those three. Fourth time lucky, eh? Wonder if Gundam will survive. I don't know. I know there's a lot of people who like Gundams. I don't know how big the overlap between Gundam enjoyers and card game players is. I mean, it's definitely not as big a franchise, at least in the West, as One Piece. But I mean, I think Gundam's like massive in Japan, right? I think that's right. It definitely has the ability to. It's just whether the game's good enough and whether they like break it or not. You want to go to the beginner deck event today? Oh, sorry to hear you've been sick, Roger. I hope you can get to one still. I've been at work today, so couldn't attend one, sadly. Pokemon has... the base arts of Pokemon cards are not that good. It's the illustration rares that are killing it. The illustrations are killing it. It's a boomer franchise. Maybe. I don't know. Rounding this up, these unbans. Put in chat what you think's going to get unbanned. I think for me, Jinbei definitely could. I think it would be very fair to unban him. I just don't think it will. I think Sakazuki's probably the card that has the most likely chance of getting unbanned. But even then, I don't think they will. I think all these other cards, like Moria, they've just printed a new version. I don't think these events are coming back. These yellow events definitely aren't coming back. Moby, maybe. Moby, maybe. Lobby, definitely not. And Carbagy, I don't know. Someone said their friend, who's an army player, said this shouldn't come back. So, yeah. And RP Law, no shot, no shot, no shot. I think for me, it's really just these three that could. I think Sakazuki's the most likely, then probably Moby, then Jinbei. Even though Jinbei is the most balanced of these, probably by far. Maybe Saka, I don't know. But Jinbei would be fine, mate. Who cares about a 5k when every leader is a 6 and a 7k, right? I don't know. Your giant robot interest ends at Pacific Rim. I've never really engaged much with Pacific Rim. You don't think they're ever going to unban errated leaders? I can see that. I can see that. I think it's a shame, though. Like, I'd be interested to see how good he is if he would come back. We should do a video on that. In your heart, Raygo? Oh. Maybe. It wasn't... I don't think it was broken, but... Man, and they're all so boring to play against with that card. Bring back the D? This one? Yeah. Didn't Bandai say they don't want to enable card design that ended up like Jinbei? Yeah, I think they did say something like that. But with all the 6k leaders, I don't even know if this card will be that great anymore. Bring back Raigo, but everyone call it Kingdom Come. That's like the one card that I think everyone adopted the Japanese name for. It's just because of the Sim version, right? Right. Oh, not this. Let's talk about the one leader we didn't, and then I'm going to end the stream after we talk about this guy. The new Luffy leader, right? Remember why I ditched this mouse? It's terrible. This guy's crazy. So if you didn't see the reveal of this guy when he came out, Supernova, Straw Hat Crew, 4 life, 5k, no crazy stat lines unlike the rest of the leaders in this set. Don X1 when your opponent attacks, if you have 5 or less active Don in your field, you can rest any number of your active Don, and then your leader or Straw Hat Crew type character gains 2,000 power for each Don that was rested by this effect. Now, obviously, this being Supernovas, well, he gets to play this card. He restands 2 Don. I mean, this seems like a guaranteed 4-of in this deck, right? It seems like a guaranteed 4-of. I've seen a few different ways of people building this. I've seen people playing with the film engine, which I thought was quite interesting. Because you can go like, where is he? Luffy blocker. He's very big. You can buff him with this. You can play Brook. And then because you're red-green, off of Brook, you can play Shiraya, who into all the big leaders, Shiraya's insane. Like, imagine if you're playing against Roger, and they go to 9 with like a Newgate, and then you're like, okay, I'll swing my 3 cost for 9k. And then it stays at 9 during your opponent's turn. That seemed really fun. I did really like the film idea for this, so I might build a list for this. You got like I love this classic engine, man. I was a Uta player back in OP6, 5, end of 5, start of 6. And this film engine's so fun. They keep making Luffy the best leader in the game. The entire game is nothing but Luffy versus Luffy. The purple straw hat is a little bit overtuned, and yeah, there's way too many Luffy leaders in terms of volume. I wish they would have a couple sets just without him. Yeah. Let's hope you never face Blackbeard. Oh, Blackbeard's not real. Don't worry about it. Blackbeard's not real. He can't hurt me. How's he going to kill me? I'll just leave 5 Don open. He can negate your leader effect, though, a little bit. We need a Kuma leader. That'd be cool. I'm hoping for a Brook or Frankie leader real soon. That'd be sick. That would be sick. And if you're playing this, you also get access to both Shanks, which is quite interesting. You get the this one, the green one, and the red one is also a pop Shanks. Where is he? The set 6 one. Yeah, this guy. Both of these are film, which is quite interesting for a film engine. You could play like this. And then some of not this event specifically, some of the events are really cool as well. Not the film ones, but like the events that restand Dons. You've got like Scalpel. This one restands 1 Don, so it's effectively a 4K counter. And also you've got Charleston. Yeah, if you can do 2 for 4K, trash 1 card, and then restand 3 Dons. So it's 10K for like 2 cards. That's kind of crazy. What other characters are Supernova Straw Hat? Well, the Supernovas is sort of all your Bonnie cards. But I think you've got to be careful to not build too much into Supernovas, because you want to be able to use this effect, and it only defends Straw Hat Crew type characters, right? It only defends Straw Hat Crew characters, which is a little tricky. It's a little tricky. I mean, thank God you can't defend this guy. Thank God you can't defend this guy. That would have been awful. Man. Can you imagine? Holy. Like, you got Bonnie. Bonnie's pretty good. I guess you can play this, but yeah, I think you're better off just building into a Straw Hat package, for sure. Straw. And then you probably just use like some of the Supernova counter events. Oh, we should put Mihawk in here. There's no way you're not playing Mihawk. Yeah. It's like the most broken card in green now. Paradise is another card Paradise Mihawk. Paradise is always just a good green card, right? It's crazy. And it also gives interesting... If I can just type in... Yeah, it gives more use to like a Rouge. Because a Rouge before is a Bonnie card, right? So it resounds 1 Don and you can use your leader effect. Now you can use this leader effect. So a Rouge is pretty cool for that. You know? And you've also got the Kid Killer's another really good one. It gives more use to his effect, the Searcher one. So you can just trash him to restand 1 Don and then use that 1 Don as a 2K. So it's a Searcher that's a 2K. And yeah, this would be more of a Supernovas type engine. But there's definitely going to be a way to do something like that, for sure. Absolutely. Does this restand Dons? Yeah, this restands Don as well. It's a 2-cost 6K counter event. Repel. Big. Star Deck 21 Luffy. Yeah, you're probably right on that one. That's probably quite likely to be in this deck. That's probably quite likely. Got a lot of bricks already. Let's put in some 2Ks. Let's go into this film engine. See if we can make this interesting enough. Counter 2000. Because you get more different ones. Do we have if we're playing the Shanks, this is live. Nami Searcher. You could play Nami. You could also... I think this is like I'm doing like a film list. But yeah, you could definitely play Nami if you want to forego the film stuff. And we might get more Straw Hat stuff in this set in green. That'd be pretty cool, man. Because a lot of... If we do get more green Straw Hats, it would interact really nicely with this as well. Because you can play out Straw Hat Crew with both this and the Brook. So that'd be kind of funky. That'd be kind of funky. Do you think they would ban Kid? No, because it's going to rotate. If they were not doing rotation, I think they would have looked at it. Would they have done it? Probably not, but they definitely would have looked at it. This guy... Something like that. That's like 12 2Ks, that's enough. And then you can have some of the crazy events. Where were we? Maybe repel. I kind of like this. 2 on 6K is kind of crazy, right? Maybe you could go like 2 of these. Probably should have Hody in here. This card's kind of bonkers. Yeah, you could do something like that for a very simple film engine of the red green Luffy. That could be pretty cool. Let's take a snip, and we'll see if we can build like just a pure straw hat one without the film stuff, or even go with the supernovas one. Eh? What's going on? I'm having a skill issue, I think. It's not working. Why is my snipping tool not working? Ah, there it is. We worked it out. Save. Yeah, let's do a supernovas version now. We'll clear this. Supernovas. Where's the leader gone? Gotta get him in first. Yeah, this guy. So you're obviously going to start with 4 Cavendish. 4 Kitten Killer, the new starter deck one. You're going to be playing a Rouge in a build like this for sure. Probably Bonnie Searcher as well. I think you'll... Where's a Rouge? Yeah, you play probably 4 Rouge, because I mean, he's just a blocker and he gives you a 2k for free. It's kind of crazy. Green Straw Hats would give Uta support. It would potentially, but if they are not film, it's tricky because it messes with your leader effect, right? PRBO2 Bonnie Blocker. Yeah, it's another good card. Is that down here? Is this one? It's not. Is it below the starter decks? This one. There it is. Yeah, on your opponent's attack. Yeah, it's another version of a Rouge. It's probably just worse than a Rouge, right? Because if they can remove this, it doesn't fire. Whereas this always fires. But it does cost 3. And it sort of... It has weird interaction with Hody. I don't know. It'd be interesting. You probably wouldn't play both. You'd probably just pick one. And choose your favourite, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, there she is. The other Bonnie blocker seems good, though. This Bonnie blocker seems like a no-brainer. As, of course, we'll put him back. We'll bring back Mihawk. This guy is just bonkers. We'll also bring back Hody. Because we're playing green, so we may as well play Hody. We'll go back to Supernovas and find some counters. Do we ever play this one? It's a counter against 2000 power. Probably not. Yeah, this one's good. I guess like that one. And then Tashigi for your 3rd counter. Something like that. You would still... This is kind of weird, right? Because a lot of these aren't Straw Hat Crew. So you can't actually defend these characters with the leader effect. So you definitely want some sort of Straw Hat Crew stuff. The Red Rush one is Straw Hat, right? The where is he? The starter deck guy. Is he not supernovas? He's not supernovas. This one is. Damn, that sucks. A lot of the Straw Hat Crew cards are not supernovas. It's a real shame. I mean, Rush Zora is. Any bans? So we went over bans. I think the ban I would like to see most is 9-course Big Mom. And then maybe a limit on Giant. What about you, H2O? What do you think? Yeah, I don't know. I think the Supernovas build... It feels weird because this only defends Straw Hat Crew characters, right? Yeah, he's 4 Emperors. I think you're right there. Okay, I think you're right. You got this guy. This guy sucks. You probably just have to play some non-Supernova Straw Hat guys. We can just go with good ones, I guess. The 5-cost Luffy. I guess you can play this, right? He's not Supernovas, but he's pretty good. Only Luffy and Zoro are Supernovas. Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point. The law. The law. You can defend this. Where's the big Luffy? Yeah, him. No, it only brings out red characters. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like this Supernova build might just be missing something. It might just be missing something. I mean, maybe you still just do play these. Maybe you still just play like the Luffy and the Brook, I guess. I don't know. The red straw hat stuff is all aggro, right? Which doesn't really work that well with this. I mean, you can just put in some events, right? You just put in like a couple repels, and then we've got Hody, we've got that. It's 4 repels, I guess. I mean, that's what, 48? We need 2 more cards. A couple of these. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not personally sold on Supernovas just yet, but I think some of these cards really do have merit. I'm just not sure if a full build is the way to go. I mean, like, obviously Cavendish is insane, because it's Cavendish. But Rouge is really cool, and the same with his Hawkins, and the Kid and Killer as well. But, yeah, a lot of the Supernova top end, I mean, 8-cost Kid just doesn't work with your leader effect, which ain't great. Yeah. You don't think Purple Luffy deck can survive with a Gum Gum Giant ban? Yeah, I think Mono Purple especially would really struggle without it. I think it would. If they target Blue Purple Luffy, you think 9 months. I think they definitely will target Blue Purple Luffy. So I think something's going to get hit. Otherwise, what else are we banning? Slash build. Perona is leader locked to slash leaders. And we are strike. You could still play the slash stuff, but you wouldn't have a searcher. You can use leader ability for counter. You could go to an event type build with the 4-cost Luffy. That's true. There's not that many guys you'd be wanting to play out though, right? You're just kind of turning the deck into Rayleigh. At which point are you just better playing Rayleigh? Maybe. I don't know. I think this leader's really cool, right? Because there's so many different ways you can cook it. You could go like full Straw Hat, full Supernovas, film, some sort of hybrid. And of course, we're getting all the new cards in the set as well. Which could well end up buffing this, especially the green cards. So, I don't know. I think this deck is definitely one of the more versatile ones. It feels like the Sabo deck is... He's not locked to Rev Army, but because you have to play... Or you really want to play those 4-cost Rev guys that go to 8, you're probably sort of pseudo-forced into playing a Rev Army build. Ace is obviously going to be playing Whitebeard. Although, again, he doesn't have to. So, I don't know. Maybe the... Yeah, the leads in this set are all pretty cool, honestly. They're all pretty cool. I think part of the problem is they're still printing vanillas and people always default to cards with text on them for inclusion. They are still printing vanillas. I like the vanilla 2Ks though. I'm a big enjoyer of the vanilla 2Ks. Having just an option for your 2K to just be like a big guy, that's kind of cool. I mean, we see quite a few of those sometimes seeing play. Kid obviously has played like the Cavendish vanilla quite a lot. The Zoro builds are playing like the Neko Mamushi vanilla 2K, which is cool. So yeah, I'm a vanilla 2K enjoyer. Not so much regular vanillas. They're kind of boring. X-Drake enjoyer. You're an X-Drake enjoyer? What, the 2K one? He's alright. I mean, he does let's just search for Drake. Maybe we'll find some music. Yeah, this guy does resound a Dom, which gives you a 2K. I do really like the green Supernova stuff. It's just a real shame that he can't defend Supernovas, you know? Go beyond that Bogard pack. So true, so true. The red, oh, this one. Oh, yeah, this one's a vanilla 2K. You're right. I thought you were talking about green purple Luffy. Green red Luffy. Well, I think that's probably enough for today. I need to get to bed. I've got work again tomorrow morning. But, yeah, thank you for hanging out. TLDR, if you missed it, ban announcements. My prediction at the moment is Big Mum ban, 9-cost Big Mum, and potentially a giant limit to 1 or 2 copies. Anything else? I don't think so. I don't think anything else needs banning. Unbans, I'd like to see a Jinbei unban. I'd also like to see a Sakura unban. I don't think either of them will get unbanned, and I don't think anything else should be. Maybe Moby. I don't have as much knowledge on that one. But thank you everyone for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed talking about these decks. I'll probably have a video up tomorrow. I'll refine these lists a little bit, and we'll do a video just talking over initial deck lists. But either way, thank you for hanging out. I hope you have a lovely rest of your evening, and I'll see you tomorrow.